Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. You're in for a long day on Long Island as round 2 of the U.S. Open is underway at Shinnecock. A good chunk of the leaderboard, including Wyndham Clark, had to finish their first round earlier in the morning after fog, rain, wind, then sunlight made Thursday a wild one. Clark's got the lead at 6 under. He's even through 3. Dustin Johnson's 2 back at 4 under. Projected cut line's 2 over. Scotty Scheffler's sitting right there at +2. He'll tee off this afternoon before 2:30. J.J. Spaun likely won't make the weekend. He's also at 220, but he's 7 over par. In baseball Thursday, Guardians beat the Brewers 7-4. Parker Messick struck out 9 in 6. Cleveland heads to Houston for a weekend series with the Astros. As for the Reds, Cincinnati was off Thursday. Redlegs will battle the Yankees tonight in the Bronx. First pitch there, 7:05 here on the Fan after the Buckeye Show. Team USA's got Australia at 3 in the second World Cup match for both squads. This update is sponsored by RCDRV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala. RCDRV.com.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lesmerises joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
If you're one of those folks out there that says this time of the year is light in terms of sports, I would just say you need to broaden your horizons. Hopefully, you've begun your weekend. If not, thanks for joining us, making it the final day in your work week. Happy Juneteenth, everybody out there. We are loaded, as they like to say in the industry. A busy 3 hours for you. I know for Ryan Baker, today's just a Friday. You know, obviously the Juneteenth holiday, working men. This really isn't work. I would say, actually, Bo's doing more work than either of us because he's doing youth sports over in Indianapolis, and we all know how he feels about that. But my co-host today, I will not blame you if you're clock watching between now and noon. Austin Ward, thank you so much for being live and in living color with us.
It's great to be here. I'm excited. It is this is the best way to start the day for me. We got some Friday morning. It's a huge U.S. World Cup day, so I'm obviously into that. Allie's got the day off. We're normally we'd already be rolling. You know, it's tailgate scene, getting ready to head downtown to watch that game, but it got a little complicated with Liberty's drama performance at 4 o'clock, smack dab in the middle of that one.
That's poor scheduling, drama camp.
But at least there's a lot to talk about, and I was thinking about it even, just on the drive down here this morning, Reese, like this June, but feels like it's more loaded with sporting events than ever before. Like some of it with college football has been bonkers and not fun to talk about, but we just got this like wild curveball of Congress getting involved and Brendan Sorsby and all. Like we still had plenty of college football to break down. Plus, locally, Ohio State with the recruiting camps and summer workouts and OTAs going on, and Jet Harrison popping into town, and then Jake Deboer's like, you know what? I want to add a little bit more on top of that. I'm going to have an open practice, and Junie Mobley's going to have a press conference. Like nationally, internationally, there's been a ton going on. NBA Finals had a parade. Danhausen getting involved with all that with the Knicks and Stanley Cup playoffs. But U.S. Open now, like there's no let up if you're a sports fan.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday with Jake Diebler and the Basketball Buckeyes. Not to be outshined by anything, anyone going on in sports, trying at least doing their best to have that open workout and the media availability, which I know you took in. I know Jacob Reimer, television star.
Television's Jacob Reimer.
Jacob Reimer took in, and so we'll have some stuff from Jake Diebler, from John Mobley Jr. throughout the program. I love what they're doing. I really love how much Ohio State's embraced change, whatever it may be. It feels like in Columbus, the programs you have, and I understand the consternation with winning on the basketball side, but winning on the football side's been there. There's just been this overall embrace of how quickly and how rapidly things have been changing and the ability to pivot. If something's not working, then you move off of that.
It's pretty remarkable. Pivot's the word, and they use that over there in the Fawcett Center, and you'll hear Ross Bjork reference it. You'll hear Ryan Day talk about it. Mark Pantoni, Berman and I had an interview with Mark in August during training camp last year, and that was in the midst of, if you remember all the way back, 12 or 13 months ago, Reese, it was like Ohio State was missing on some recruits that it thought it was going to land, and the only thing that you could point to was that they weren't going to spend over their cap allotment. And that didn't necessarily mean house settlement terms. It meant, are you allowed to go fully into the collectives? How are these other schools doing it? And they were reluctant at that time to really push the envelope because Ohio State had participated in the conversation for the College Sports Commission, which I guess is still a real thing. I'm not sure what it's actually, what its purpose is at this point, since no rules are enforceable. But you look at that and, all right, so that's, if this is now what the rules of engagements are, by the time you got to December, well, they were spending a lot more, and they wound up with 28 people in the signing class and more than they had ever landed before. So they changed their approach. And then, well, the transfer portal got a little bit complicated. All right, this is what is allowable. We'll walk up to that line. When you set where the line is, Ohio State will never be the first one to walk across it, Reeser, but they will maximize whatever situation is in front of them, I think, better than anybody else. So they will pivot. They will execute a lot of good plans. You look at this roster right now, if there was hand-wringing in August of last year or concern in the first week of January that they didn't immediately hit home runs in the transfer portal, here we are in June, and that roster that I saw working out, floating around in the Woody, doing OTA stuff, it's still the most talented in college football.
It's
Despite
funny.
it all, huh?
In spite of it all.
It's funny when we talk about Ohio State football, no matter what, they're always there at number one because they are putting most of their resources into football and they want football to be number one. So they've kind of been at the forefront of all of it. They might have went a little slower into the transfer portal because they didn't want the roster turnover, I think, like some of these teams have had, but they've still maximized all of it. On the Ohio State basketball side of things, it's amazing to see how they've adapted and changed a little bit and how they've, even with the transfer portal throughout the Jake Diebler years, well, let's get the high-end talent. Well, maybe it's unproven. Let's get some proven guys, and they've tweaked it. And now somehow they've found money for L.J. Smith to reclassify and get here. And you've got 2 5-stars coming in here that, since D'Angelo Russell, you haven't had kids like this. It's pretty exciting.
Jake Diebler was asked about the L.J. Smith conversation. I'm not sure that they wanted to find all of that money right now. That might sound crazy, but it does get more complicated. The one thing that you can't have happen is you have a 4 or 5-star recruit committed to your program, and he's interested in reclassifying. He wants to get to Columbus faster. You can't say, well, buddy, I don't know, tap the brakes, because then what happens is someone else will pay for him to reclassify, and then you lose him. So it is complicated. It's hard, I think, to project exactly where he fits in to Ohio State's rotation. He's only been on campus for 2 days, but he got out there and it was part of that workout on Thursday. I mean, you can tell he can shoot the basketball, but he does also look like a high school senior. So I don't know that immediately changes the projection for Ohio State, but Anthony Thompson does not look like a high school senior. He very much looks like someone who can help make a tournament run, compete at the top of the Big Ten. It was fun to see him, but yesterday when I left, Reeser, I couldn't believe it, and you won't believe it either. The guy who impressed most, I was at the Woody and the Shot, and the person that I found myself talking about last night on the Buckeye Show for 15 minutes was Ivan Nagovin. He dominated this practice, and I was like, no one's going to believe this. They're thinking that I fabricated. It was a fever dream. But, Jake Diebler talked about that as well. It's year 3 for him, and it's year 3 for Ivan. And he looked great, man. I don't know what that means, but they've got size.
It might be scary in some respects.
That's music to Ohio State fans' ears, because that's something that we've been lamenting for such a long time, is not having true, what would you say, true center play that can go in the Big Ten. And with, we talked about pivoting and Ohio State's embrace of things, Jake Diebler's embrace of a tougher non-conference schedule. Yeah. where you want to challenge yourself before you get into the Big Ten, which is face punching every night. And if Ivan Yagovin's going to make the jump that we all want him to make, the jump that you think could be coming, then this is a team that's ready to not only compete for a spot in the Big Dance, but to make a run in the Big Dance.
I can't believe Baker immediately went to the pessimistic take on that.
I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. I don't know.
I know. We're trying to, and I don't know how to take that. I watch a lot more, obviously, almost exclusively Ohio State football practices and training camp, and I know what it might mean with a small sample size and what those practices look like. I don't go to a lot of these open gyms and open practices for basketball, so if that's now in my brain.
There was a couple weeks ago, Jake Diebler did a press conference, and you told us that you had to move your Monday availability. And I'm like, something's got to be happening for Austin. Mondays at 10:30 to not appear Monday at 10:30 for a basketball thing.
I think that it deserves more attention than I have given it.
Okay. You can change. We can change.
And it's not, and to me, it's not even about an actual preference, because football is always going to take up 99.99% of my time. That's how the bills are paid. That's my area of expertise. But I sensed throughout last year, and I don't know if you guys did or not, whether that's on the 97.1 The Fan YouTube channel or social media interactions or whatever. It felt like there was growing re-interest in Ohio State basketball. And if that's the case, then I feel like I can help serve that. I go to these press conferences, go to the gym. Like, that's not a thing that I would normally do. And in fact, when I was at ESPN, they specifically told me not to. Take your time off when it's not football season, which when isn't it football season anymore? So there's not enough interest in that. I feel like that might be changing right now because they got back in the tournament, because people are raising their expectations for what Ohio State basketball could become. Now, that doesn't mean to the level of winning a national championship, because I don't know still if I will see that in my lifetime. That is the most pessimistic take that we could have on the show probably today. But I think that people are ready to see this program get back there, and there's maybe a greater sense of belief that can happen now.
Well, it's the audacity of hope in June. Every fan base that we cover and that we discuss has that in some form or fashion.
Maybe not the Browns.
I'll tell you what, as a Browns fan, like they might win 5 games this season, but if you can build off of that, see what I'm doing? I'm talking you up to a Brook Park Super Bowl in 2030.
Okay.
We'll do some Bengals talk, because Joe Burrow had kind of an audacious press conference earlier this week. Mike Petraglia, a great friend of the program, will join us at 10:30. Doug Lesmerises will come on at 11:30. A little bit of what we learned this week at 11 o'clock. We'll have some Sorsby discussion, as there will be fallout from Brendan Sorsby even past the NFL supplemental draft. Just kind of what was done this week might give you some hope for what could be done in college football. But Lane Kiffin may be providing a little bit of, I wouldn't call it audacious hope, but you'll hear from LSU's head coach coming up next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
The buzz is real at Zoombezi Bay's award-winning conservation tower. 3 all-new water slides, 1 thrilling experience. Make your splash at ZoombeziBay.com.
Common Man and Timmy here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Oh, Common Man, we got lots of exciting things this month.
That's right, like the grand opening of the new hotel so you can stay and play.
Plus, we got lots of great entertainment lined up now through October. We got the Hollywood Tribute Band concert series, from the timeless magic of the Beatles to the fire and swagger of Johnny Cash.
And don't forget about the $250,000 Sweet Spins drawings on Saturdays through June. You can win $250K cash or a 2-night package at the new hotel.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get an ECO.
ECO.
Hey, Aaron, happy Father's Day month.
You know what, Jerry? I grew up with a single mom, so it's always been important to me to be the best dad I could be.
You install air conditioners in people's homes, Aaron. That literally makes you the cool dad. Get it?
Get an ECO.
ECO. Did you just call a guy with an HVAC company a cool dad? That really is a dad joke.
Get an ECO.
ECO.
A cool dad like you can install a new air conditioner that makes the whole family cool.
Well, a really cool dad would repair the air conditioner they have.
And leave more money for Father's Day presents.
With our AC Repair Buyback program, we'll even credit you any money you spend on the repairs against the purchase of a new system, if you change your mind and replace it.
Get an ECO.
ECO.
Hypothetically, Aaron, what does a guy like yourself look for in a necktie?
I don't wear ties, Jerry, and I'm certainly not your dad.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and cool dad HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Grilling season starts now at Billiards Plus. Shop top-of-the-line grills and turn every cookout into a win. Then bring the fun inside with pool tables, shuffleboard, and more. Everything for the ultimate game room. Billiards Plus. Grills, games, and good times. Online or on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Common Man here. Join me June 20th for the Common Man Mile at this year's Fan 5K in Westerville. Get signed up at 971therace.com.
The 97.1 The Fan 5K is presented by Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, and the Common Man Mile is sponsored by Rose Pest Solutions. Rose Pest Solutions has been protecting Columbus homes and businesses for over 165 years. Got a pest problem? Rose is the solution. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com.
Hey, Columbus, buy a new Ford at the same price of Ford employee pays. No markup, no haggling. Right now, Capital Ford of Columbus, get employee pricing on F-150s, Super Duties, Explorers, Mustangs, and more. Thousands in savings. This deal ends soon. Come to Capital Ford today, priced for you.
Day one, the hardest day. The day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
Summer is here, and I know from my own experience as a high school teacher that this is a welcome opportunity for students and staff to relax and reset. We all need to take a step back from the stress of the school year and just take care of ourselves for a bit. Ohio's educators can't wait to see our students in the fall. But for now, have a great summer.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of sunshine in our forecast today as temperatures soar into the mid to upper 70s this afternoon with breezy winds. And then for tonight, mostly clear overnight with our lows in the 50s. For Saturday, we will see mostly sunny skies with some spotty showers and storms. We'll have a little bit of a breeze with highs right around 80 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker with you on this Juneteenth edition of the program. Congratulations if you have a 3-day weekend, but if you're working like the three of us are, thanks for making us a part of your Friday. We had talked to Austin earlier this week about win totals for SEC teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was BetMGM had the numbers: Georgia, Texas 9.5, LSU, Alabama, Texas A&M 8.5, and it didn't feel too audacious for those teams to all hit the over, except that they play each other.
Makes it tough.
So some teams are probably not going to hit that mark, and I do think, you know, it's entertaining in college sports to have a villain. And I never really bought Jim Harbaugh as the villain because he always kind of just stunk in terms of when I think of sports
until
villains,
he became a real villain.
I think of Bo Ryan, if that makes sense, like a true folly to what you as Ohio State want to do. And now Jim Harbaugh did become a folly for the Buckeyes later on and winning that national championship, but it didn't quite capture me as much because I just thought, here's an idiot who goes into cold plunge tubs with khaki pants and chugs.
Well, but then he brought in an evil henchman.
So there's that, but I think Harbaugh just said, oh, that is a good idea. We should do that. Rather than, here's the idea that I've concocted myself.
Twirling a mustache and hiding out in his lair.
I hope that for college football, Lane Kiffin can kind of become that, because it does feel like the school, the way the governor's injected himself into LSU athletics, the way the last couple of coaches have been, Lane's perfect for that spot.
Now, you're talking about Austin's favorite guy here, right?
Some of us have already viewed Lane Kiffin as a villain for many, many years. And I've been trying to tell the world. I've been screaming it from the rooftops. I took out ads in the Gotham Gazette. I said, this guy's the Joker.
Yeah.
Why are you not falling for it? How can you not see through this? He's Two-Face. He's the Riddler. He's all of them combined. And I've been, no. And I'd get in arguments, and Bobby would say, no, he's good for college football. He's hilarious. His social media account is great. I said, none of that's real.
It's all fake.
I said, and Eric, he's the master of a 15-second soundbite and social media trolling. Mm-hmm. I will not take that superpower away from him. But if you sit down in a press conference, a Lane Kiffin press conference, for 25 minutes, you will be bored to tears. If you try to talk to him face-to-face like a normal human being, and I've done all of these things. Now, it was only 1 year that I covered him, but it might as well have been 15.
Feels like it took some off your life.
It took a lot off of my life because everything from the moment he arrived was just off the walls crazy. And it doesn't make sense because he is more like Two-Face. Once he turns off the social media troll, he becomes a real-life, awkward person to talk to. He doesn't really thrive in those settings. So I have always found it off-putting. But even at that start in 2009, and probably there are people in Los Angeles nodding their head and saying, yeah, that lines up with my experience ahead of the tarmac firing, or, that are tied to the Raiders organization that are saying, yeah, I think that's probably correct, or that we're down there
in Oxford.
Probably,
Because I think to him, whining about how he couldn't coach in the playoff, and it's like, well, of course they're not going to let you do that.
Why would they? What are you talking about? You're trying to take all their coaches and then flip their recruits and take your current players over to Baton Rouge. Why would they let you do that for the entire month? You crazy person. So all of this, to me, I think more people are turning towards that side. But any close examination of what he does, the way he has operated his programs, has rubbed me the wrong way for a long time. And I enjoyed parts of covering Lane Kiffin, but a lot of this stuff that is also tied into the salary he's getting at LSU and everyone falling all over themselves that this is going to be the prime coach on the market. Like when USC was hiring, he was the sixth choice, and everyone had to say no because they knew what the probations were coming down. And he had gone 7-6 at Tennessee. I'm like, okay, well, how will they ever recover from losing Lane Kiffin in his 7-6 year and NCAA violations left in his wake? Which we can laugh at that part now, but it's like, why is he viewed as this coaching god just because he has a very active social media account?
Yeah, the hot yoga and all of that was funny. From the standpoint where I think he's perfect at LSU. He fits that school wanting to be the villain. He fits with Kim Mulkey. He fits with Will Wade. He fits with
he fits right in.
He fits with the SEC.
What a rogues gallery.
It's really the kind of triumvirate of hateable coaches. And I think that's good for the sport.
Yeah.
Because especially with how tribalistic things have gotten between the Big Ten and the SEC, who have only really agreed on one thing.
We want our money.
They've only really agreed on the one thing. And what he's been able to do throughout his career has unified so many fan bases against him. And so I'm excited for that, to be able to hate Lane Kiffin again, especially when he's at LSU.
You didn't have to stop.
I just didn't care. It was just apathy. Now I can lean into it a little bit. But he was on, Tyrann Mathieu got a podcast, In the Bayou, because everybody's got a podcast. And I saw this headline, and then when you hear the audio, you go, well, that's not really as braggadocious as I would have hoped Lane Kiffin was going to be. But 3 of the last 4 coaches in Baton Rouge have won a national championship. Now, Lane, the expectations with the salary you are being paid, the war chest you get for bringing in all of those mercenaries, Sam Levitt, your quarterback from Arizona State, a national title or bust, is that on the table this season?
I don't know how fast it's going to happen. We're going to win a national championship, and we're going to have the teams and the rosters back to the way that they were playing when they were great. I don't know how fast. That might not be today, right? But it's going to happen, and I feel it in recruiting too.
So this is straight out of the Lane Kiffin playbook, Reeser. When he got to Tennessee in 2009, and when I was covering the team for the Knoxville News-Sentinel, one of the first things that he did was on signing day, he had flipped a couple, targets of Urban Meyer in Florida. And he went in to his press conference. He said, well, we were able to get New Keith Richardson, who, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if I can say this, but Urban Meyer was calling him on his visit, and it was, that's against NCAA rules. So Florida was trying to tamper with our recruits on visits, and we won that recruitment anyway. And then a couple months later, he goes, he tried to then mimic Jim Tressel in some ways. He goes, well, they played Florida in week 3, whatever date it was in September, he said, to a gathering. You guys are going to be so proud of this program. You're going to be down there. We're going to be singing Rocky Top all night long in the swamp. This, by the way, was Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer, Florida. They were not going to go down there and sing Rocky Top all night long. And lo and behold, they did not. But it created this wave of interest where Tennessee fans were like, yes, this guy gets it. He's going to go talk trash. He's Tennessee's Steve Spurrier. Phil Fulmer would never do this. He'd never do that and the other. He's not going to poke Urban Meyer. He's not going to back down. And cool, it was great that Lane Kiffin did that. The results never matched it. But he said those things, and he got attention on the program. And that is the thing that he's best at, is bringing attention to himself and his program. That's not nothing. That's meaningful. Yep. But if you don't ever actually get over the top with the games, winning the games that matter, which, even a year ago or 2 years ago, you're still Ole Miss and you're losing to Kentucky. That's the results have never matched the interest and from my experience.
So I had mentioned the one thing that the Big Ten and the SEC have agreed upon. Why it's bad news for Ted Cruz in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony here for the Good Feet store, and my journey continues. No more agony of defeat. Already this season, I've walked 18 holes twice and lived to tell the story. My personally fit arch supports go where I go. And in this case, right into my shoes, all of them. I just pop them in any pair and off I go. Just having that support and the stability has made a world of difference for me. A while back, I walked into the Good Feet store and walked out with an entirely new outlook. And I knew it right away. After taking the test walk around the store, I felt the difference. And not just that cushy feeling. I'm talking about real support, the kind that makes you feel aligned. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I experience it daily. I really feel my personally fit arch supports guide my feet into their ideal position. You can make an appointment online or just stop into the Good Feet store in Grove City or on Polaris Parkway in Westerville. Get started at goodfeet.com.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Apex Pros. The pros who knows.
All right, here's what's up on a Friday, a Juneteenth edition of the program. We had talked yesterday, Austin, about the Protect College Sports Act.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Making its way out of committee.
Yeah.
And now having the ability to go to a vote on the floor of the Senate. And thinking that's not nothing, because it's the first, at least that I can remember, that's trying to save or protect or fix or guardrails college athletics that's actually now available to be voted on.
It's the closest we've been. Now, that doesn't mean that we're particularly close to the finish line, unfortunately. And I know that I can sense right now, eyes glazing over, people pulling their hair out.
People are tired of this.
It's crazy. And why are we talking about this? It doesn't need to keep being a congressional conversation. We don't need to have the courts involved. Who can find some way? But the frustrating part, Reeser, is that every time something like this happens, whether it's an eligibility case or an NIL matter or a transfer contract, the coaches, the athletic directors, the presidents across the country, they say, please help us. We need the ability to enforce rules. And then someone, whether that's this particular case with Ted Cruz or anybody else who wants to write a bill, they say, okay, we'll help you. This is what it needs to be. This would make sense. Here's how professional sports are regulated. And then they'll hand that out. And then the Big Ten and Tony Petitti and the SEC and then Greg Sankey go, no, that's not going to work for us, man. We're out. You can't do that to us.
And it's kind of what happened yesterday with the Big Ten and the SEC. You had the president of Maryland, the president of Indiana, the chancellor at Tennessee, the chancellor at Missouri with a joint statement because Maria Cantwell is one of the co-sponsors of the Protect College Sports Act. And she had said in testimony this week, quote, what we did today with it advancing out of the Senate committee, what we did today is say we're not going to let the most powerful, richest conferences dictate to the rest of America what's going to happen to 500,000 athletes, end quote. And while it's a great soundbite, it represents to me the inability to kind of understand what's actually going on in college athletics because it's easy to position it like that if you're not in the muck of it, like kind of we are every day. And so you had those presidents and chancellors, like I mentioned, in the Big Ten and the SEC with a gigantic joint statement that said kind of just that. That's not how this is characterized. That's not how this should be characterized. We don't support how this is going to go. And without their support, along with a bunch of other things, this feels like this time next year we'll be talking about a different act with a fun acronym.
Better than this one?
I don't know if you get any better than Protect.
The old
Save.
PCSA. It represents another fundamental misunderstanding of the way college athletics is run at the highest level of government. And I can understand why. They should be theoretically working on more important things.
They can't even do that properly.
I understand that. This is not a politics show.
I know.
I don't want to talk about that. This should have been the thing, left or right, either side of the aisle. You can say, well, we all do love college sports, and we would like to see it go back to some sense of normalcy, and we can understand what the rosters are going to look like, the fact that there are rules.
Is that the fundamental flaw in all of this, though, is trying to go back?
Well, yes. You can't. This genie is out of the lamp. You're not going to be able to
this
stuff
isn't like
him back
gutter
in
bowling where you can just raise the gutters out and now we're all actually able to hit pins.
I don't think you can go all the way back, and I don't even think they want to, but I do think they want to go back a little bit as far as their rules and guardrails in place. And I would think, and it's so crazy because it took something like Sorsby and gambling to get all of these guys together and say, no, we don't care what the courts say. We're not doing this. To me, if I'm the NCAA of all times ever, I'm like, okay, let's get the government out of this. Let's all of us sit down and some sanity prevail, and let's quit worrying about our individual win and loss record. And I know we're not going to have that because obviously Cody Campbell's like, well, I'm trying to fix the sport, but as long as the rules are the way they are, I'm going to do this. We need somebody to say, I don't care. I'm going to sacrifice something with my school or my program to fix this. But I would think right now, at any time, the NCAA and these chancellors and governors and all of this would be like, hey, we can do this. Let's sit down. Let's find a plan that works for all of us, and let's get this done.
But I think that's a great point. It's also the difference between Ohio State and Texas Tech, Baker, that when Ohio State is participating in trying to change the rules, they will follow them in the meantime. They won't say, well, this rule doesn't currently exist. If I'm Cody Campbell, they will do what it takes. And sometimes that's a point of frustration for Ohio State fans. Sometimes it's a sense of pride.
That.
Yeah, it depends on your perspective.
Because I think if you want meaningful change, you have to be operating in good faith. If you want to say we've got to negotiate in good faith, you can't be like LSU and operating however it best fits your interest and then saying, well, no, we need guardrails. We need things to fix this. Like, I give Ross Bjork a lot of credit for this because he's doing and saying the same thing.
Yeah. And
it can't be said everywhere else.
It absolutely cannot be. And it has become Cody Campbell has made himself a Lane Kiffin, style supervillain. He's more like Lex Luthor with his deep pockets. But I don't know if we need to do the whole shows comparing coaches and boosters to superheroes and supervillains. But to go back to one of the misunderstandings, and you put out this statement, you're in Washington D.C. and you're saying, well, we're not going to let. And basically, they're talking about the Big Ten and the SEC specifically, them hijack these rules to the detriment of 500,000 student athletes. Well, that's not a clear understanding of reality, which is that the money that is funding everything in college athletics, the college football and the NCAA basketball tournament, rely on the Big Ten and the SEC being the best partners. So they have to have an outsized say. Now, it can also work against college athletics like it has with the football playoff expansion conversation and them standing in the way. Sometimes if you don't want 24, then you're actually on the SEC side. But the fact that they have to come to some sort of compromise, these two biggest leagues, most influential leagues, they've earned that ability because what they're doing on the field and on the court is allowing much of these opportunities for name, image, and likeness and funding sports at every level across the country. So if you think that you can make rules that apply to every other conference and the Big Ten and the SEC just have to accept it and swallow that medicine, all you're gonna do is force them.
You're in for a bad time.
To go to a Super League model and leave and start their own governance because they are the ones that generate the most interest. You have to have them as a partner here.
Yeah, the idea that trying to restrict, I think, is also the wrong way to go about it, because what do we all love is to not be restricted. I mean, it's human nature. And for Maria Cantwell on this to say that 500,000 student athletes as if they're all treated equal is, again, showing that you're really just on this because you needed a D on this bill to say it's bipartisan. We had Paul Feinbaum on yesterday, and he talked about Cody Campbell funding Ted Cruz, funding Ken Paxton. It's like, what do they all have in common? They're all folks we'd like to have out of actual discourse and actual discussion to fixing whatever is wrong with college athletics.
I thought that I would be safe by just not, reading about politics and national government. Like, I would never have to hear some of these names again. And then they just infiltrate it, and I have to hear about Texas Supreme Court cases.
Yeah.
And it's not what any of us got into sports for. I think about that also going back to Knoxville and covering Lane Kiffin. It's like when I had to go, pick up arrest reports. I'm like, what am I doing? This is not why I like sports. I don't want to talk about it. Keep it out of my sports. And I don't want to
just want the boot to meet the ball.
Don't want to be one of those guys that's just like, stick to sports. And I understand that there are a lot of other complicating factors, but it's like once it infiltrates and bleeds over into what we have to talk about in June and July, because we all want college football. We all want college basketball to be on steady ground and level footing for the future, because we don't want to lose it. And there's a real risk of not just fatigue from the fan base, but if these rules try to roll back the sport to 1995, that all of the best players will have to be going somewhere else, to get to their professional careers. So we don't want that either. But every time that NCAA, ADs, presidents ask for help and they get it, and then they immediately throw up their hands and say, we're out on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, at some point, if you want rules, you got to have rules.
And with rules or with guardrails or with whatever is asked for, the ask for the fan is also increasing with this.
Yes.
If you're going to extend the college football playoff, which even if they're not explicitly saying they're going to expand to 24, and I don't know if a December 1 deadline is floating or if it's something that they've got to let ESPN know on that day. Like, as soon as you hit midnight, they're like, all right,
that's it.
What's the decision? Like, it affects everything that the fans will have to put up with. And I'd wondered, after seeing prices for today's World Cup match, $1,800 the get-in price to Lumen Field. And I'll ask you both this coming out of the break: the most you've ever paid for a sporting event and the most you would be willing to pay for a sporting event. That's next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Bo Bishop here. If you've been thinking about an RV, now is the time at RCD RV. They've got over 850 RVs in stock. Motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers from trusted brands like Cougar, Georgetown, Springdale, Forest River, and Salem. Trade values are sky high right now, and every RV purchase from RCD RV comes with a $500 ODNR gift card for your next Ohio State Park getaway. This limited time event ends June 27th, so don't wait. Visit RCD RV or shop now at rcdrv.com.
You having trouble raising your arms, climbing stairs? Maybe you can't kneel down, which means you can't play with the kids, golf with the guys, get through a work day without exhausting pain. Hey, it's Bobby, and I'm here to celebrate what you can do. It's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. It's what I did. Not bracing for the next jolt of pain. It's gone. They've moved on. I've moved on. I'm back to my life. You've heard me talk about Dr. Ray Tesner and the team at QC Kinetics and how they've helped me get my knee back together. It was bothering me. I couldn't run, couldn't go do the things that I love to do, like be with my kids, run around outside in the summer and enjoy it. But I didn't have to miss work. There was no surgery. There was no long recovery. And I love running into people who have gone to see them at QC Kinetics and how much better they feel now. Their consultation is totally free. So go there and check out and see if you're a good candidate. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Or check them out online at qckinetics.com.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic. And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle? Ah, thanks for noticing. Catchy, right? No. Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. There's only one Ozempic. I told you it was catchy.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
This weekend, the Ultimate Music Fusion takes the stage. Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents Grammy Award-winning superstar Wyclef Jean performing live with the Columbus Symphony. From the Fugees to his massive solo career, experience unforgettable mix of hip-hop, reggae, and world music with hits like Gone to November. We trying to stay alive and more. One night only. This Saturday, June 20th, at the Columbus Commons. Get your tickets now at picnicwiththepops.com.
T-Bone and Tyvis wake you up every weekday morning from 6 to 9, and I think I can sum up the show in 3 words. Football, food, and fun. Ain't that right, T-Bone?
And I get more volume per suck.
And there's only one thing that makes Tyvis happier than a free hair transplant.
All it took was legalizing the money you had to give to the players. And we are watching the demise of the SEC.
T-Bone and Tyvis, weekday morning starting at 6. And tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan.
Hey, Columbus, buy a new Ford at the same price of Ford employee pays. No markup, no haggling. Right now, Capital Ford of Columbus, get employee pricing on F-150s, Super Duties, Explorers, Mustangs, and more. Thousands in savings. This deal ends soon. Come to Capital Ford today, priced for you.
At St. Jude, every innovation we make is a moment we give to children with cancer everywhere. But we can't do it without you.
Learn more at stjude.org.
T-Bone and Tyvis would like to remind you that you don't have to get in your car to listen or put on pants. Tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan and experience the stupidity in the comfort of your own home. You're welcome.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
Austin, towards the tail end of the conversation in our last segment, I did want to shift it towards the fan because we as the fan, on the fan, kind of bear the brunt of a lot of this. where the asks are going to keep increasing for the fans. The attention is going to the attention that we need to give. I mean, you're talking about a 2014 playoff. It's going to start in August, the regular season, and then it's not going to end until the end of January.
Literally the end of January.
I mean, that's
the latest that it's ever been.
That's an incredible ask for a college football season that used to just go September to November and then maybe in December. And now if you think about it,
everybody says, I want more football. Give me all the football you can possibly feed me.
What's the threshold there?
I think that even when you had Ohio State, Notre Dame, and remove yourself from the Columbus part of this conversation, obviously it was going to be breaking television records here.
Mm-hmm.
But those were two of the most prestigious brands in the history of the game, playing for a national championship. And the ratings were, on par with a regular season game against Michigan. The casual fan, especially as it starts to compete with the NFL, there does become a limit. There actually is such a thing as too much football for some people, not for everyone. But when you look at that ask and the season going as long as possible, people do lose interest. And the way that they've structured the playoff hasn't worked because you have, you're going to look at this 2-week break between the quarterfinals or the semifinals. Yeah. It's too much. It's too long. It's hard to maintain that level of interest. So, that's one of 100 conversations that they have to have about keeping people engaged with the sport because, you, I, Baker, we all want to talk about what's happening on the field and we want it to
more than anything
make sense. But I think asking fans then to turn around and not just spend their money, but pay attention to congressional action. Like, I hate talking about it. And I think it's important that we do pay some deference to it, attention to it, to explain what could be coming down the pike. But we could talk about it for 3 hours and how ridiculous it is. But I don't know that anybody actually wants to hear that.
What's the most you've ever paid for a sporting event ticket-wise?
Well, I think on a per ticket cost, not including the accommodations or anything else, because that would be going to the 2014 World Cup in Brazil for 17 days. That's a separate matter. We can talk about that with the ticket prices going on right now for FIFA and how they've ruined this World Cup. But when you guys remember, I was in a couple months ago, I was getting ready to go to Chicago for Elimination Chamber. That was on the heels of Ohio State's spring game ruining our plans to go to WrestleMania. That Liberty got those tickets for Christmas. So when we canceled all of that travel and those tickets, we put it all in to the chamber and got the third row seats right by the cage. We paid $750 for those tickets. So I think that's the record for me. Now, what was great about the 2014 World Cup in relation to what's going on right now is we just added on a whim an ability to go to Italy and Uruguay and sit in the first row of the stadium in Brazil for $100.
Dang.
You can't even go see Qatar for $100 in this World Cup.
No, I saw this from Pro Football Talk that the get-in price for today's match at 3 o'clock between Australia and Team USA, $18.78 is the get-in price at Lumen Field in Seattle.
There was a time, a simpler time, Reeser, when FIFA said, we want to grow the game. It's not about profit. Because also they're turning around and selling billions of dollars of sponsorship to Coca-Cola and whatever alcohol sponsor they've got right now, and this, that, and forcing the stadiums to pay $15 million to have, clean sponsorship while you're seeing Kansas City Stadium instead of Arrowhead, for example, or, Dallas, Texas Stadium instead of AT&T.
Yep.
They're making plenty of money from there. And that used to be the approach. It's like, you don't have to then turn around and get the maximum amount of money from the fan base and send ticket prices through the roof. FIFA used to very closely control that. And then they're like, well, it's in the United States. So let's let Ticketmaster have a heyday. Let's see how much we can make. This is great. But it's so crazy because Allie and I, 12 years ago at this time, were in Brazil, so excited for that trip, went to all 3 group stage games, had flown down there with the American Outlaws travel package. And basically we paid for 2.5 weeks what it would have cost for Allie, me, and Liberty to go to last Friday's game in LA.
Yeah.
Like, that inflation is one thing,
saying that.
But I don't think that accounts for that huge difference right there. Like the whole trip.
I think the most I've paid for a sporting event, I think I did $145 to get into the Horseshoe for Ohio State, Wisconsin in 2013.
Okay. That's a good one.
I don't know if I'd go above $200 for a sporting event.
So
first, I don't think I could.
I can probably guarantee you that I would not go over 200 either. It'd have to be something pretty big. I think the most I've ever paid is about $120 for glass seats to a Jackets game.
Okay.
Now, I've done out-of-town trips, Austin, where, like, we did Royal Rumble in St. Louis. I've been to Jackets games in St. Louis, been to Jackets games in Nashville and Detroit and things like that where you had to buy hotel, too, and travel. So it probably ended up being a little more, but ticket-wise, I did a lot of Jackets games for many years for half price or less.
Oh, yeah.
So I was pretty spoiled. Now it's even worse when you can go to certain things for free. So I don't know how I could ever drop 200 on a ticket to something.
Spoiled by the press box now, Bake.
Yeah. Now there's a new press box snob in town. You got Baker over here.
I mean, I just don't like spending a lot of money, that's for sure.
I saw this from Scotty in the YouTube chat. I paid student pricing for the 07 National Championship, less than $200. Granted, it's 2007, but Ohio State football is what I care about most, far and away. So anything closer to $500, and I'm out.
But I think 2 years ago in Atlanta for that game, when we're asking and talking about Ohio State fan asks,
yeah,
I believe like the cheapest through Ohio State. So like no markups. This is what the CFP is sending. This is face value. I think the ticket prices were like, it tiered at maybe $600, $900, $1,200, in that range. And that's like, and it wasn't going to go below that because it was Ohio State and it was Notre Dame. So that, like, there's no better option than that. That's reflective of how out of control I think the ticket market has come. And now live sports is the only thing that seems to be able to capture the attention of people. You think about the streaming battle that's going on and everything else to get live sports. People still want to see that more than anything else, but it has not matched, I think. I'd love a better explanation for how ticket prices have got as out of control as they are, not just for the World Cup, but college football playoff games and anything else. I know that they have to pay the bills, and for college football specifically, that can also be tied back into NIL and everything else, but they're also bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars and, in fact, billions of dollars on the Big Ten television deal. It seems so out of whack for the fan.
I think part of it, too, is these stadiums aren't good enough anymore after 10 years. Like, we've got to redo them all, like Nationwide Arena, which is great. They're going through a huge $400 million plus renovation right now. We've seen what's going on at the Shoe. The game experience supposedly isn't good enough for fans, so they've got to do a new video board and seat backs and things like that.
Premium hospitality.
Part of it is us. You mentioned being press box snobs. Part of us are game snobs, and if it's not enjoyable for us to go and consume, I'm just going to sit at home in front of my 86-inch screen TV and kick up and have my favorite snacks and beverages and not pay for parking and all of that stuff.
I'm trying not to be a press box snob now, Bake. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. Okay? I don't want that to be my reputation. Okay, they joke about it with me on the Buckeye Show, and
I
they're
was going to say, lean into it.
Part of that is like I will complain about it.
It's not going to get better if they don't know about it.
That's
Austin.
what I've said. They need, tough love, constructive criticism. You're not going to get better if you don't get tough love and tough coaching. So, but I want to be better about that. But that when you do the notebook, and you can see that on the 97.1 The Fan YouTube channel after games, like there have been times where, I don't know, let's say Notre Dame does an absolutely horrible job with their media operations from start to finish. They need to know about that. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like the three of us are sitting here trying to yell it from the mountaintops that ticket prices, they're too darn high.
They're too damn high. And I also think to what you'll see today in Columbus is another argument for why the at-home or with friends options much better than having to shell out $1,800 to go to a game that the atmosphere, while it'll be great, you can get a similar and maybe even an easier atmosphere sitting at home or hanging out with your friends. We'll discuss everything with that and Austin's observations from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center this week. It's coming up next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
This 4th of July week, Championship Golf takes center stage in Columbus. From July 2nd through 5th, the 46th U.S. Senior Open Championship comes to Scioto Country Club, where legends of the game meet hallowed grounds that don't play favorites. Feel the energy, the tradition, and the pressure of championship golf at its finest. Be there for every moment. Tickets are available now on SeatGeek.
Not everybody's cut out for this kind of work. At Newman Roofing, we look for people who care about the details, the kind of people who show up early, work hard, and take real pride in what they build. Because to us, your home isn't just another job site or paycheck, it's your peace of mind. That's why our crews aren't just trained, they're invested in their craftsmanship, in their communication, in their customers. At Newman Roofing, we don't believe in cutting corners to save a buck. We believe in doing the work the right way, with quality materials, experienced professionals, and a level of care you can actually feel. It's the reason so many of our customers come back to us time and time again. And they recommend us to the people they love the most. Roofing, siding, gutters, whatever your home needs, trust the company built on family values and hard work. Newman Roofing. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Your plate is full every morning, thanks to the $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. Freshly brewed coffee, a hearty breakfast sandwich with a freshly cracked egg, and a daily baked donut. All of that for just $6. Yeah, that is a full plate for sure, but it's one less thing on your plate to worry about. So enjoy it to its fullest. The $6 Tim's Trio, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons, at participating U.S. restaurants.
Guess which store is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and you'll get up to $180 off sets of Goodyear tires. Okay, here's a hint.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Get 0% financing for 60 months on new 2026 Tucsons. Only at Great Lakes, Columbus, or Dublin, or glakeshyundai.com. With approved A1 credit. 30K finance only. Plus qualified rate. N76.
There's this thing repair people do nowadays.
Mappo's Plumbing. Sure. We do have a dispatch fee. It's $1 zillion.
A dispatch fee, a trip charge, going out to your house bill.
Bippity Bing Bong Electrical. Our trip charge is a nice new car.
But not Apex Pros, the pros who knows. When you call Apex for repairs on your AC, plumbing, or electric, there's no dispatch fee.
Thank you for calling Apex Pros. Why would we? Kinda silly to ask for money before we do anything, isn't it?
We give you an upfront price only after we know what's really going on. We think it's the right thing to do, instead of...
Slappy's AC, electric, plumbing, dry cleaning, haberdashery, and chiropractic. Of course we charge to come out. $1 kajillion, 3 diamond rings, and 2 exotic pets.
Apex Pros. Never a dispatch fee. Examples of competitive rates may have been slightly exaggerated.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Second round of the U.S. Open continues at Shinnecock Hills in New York. Wyndham Clark leads at 6 under. He's even on the day through 5. 4 golfers, including Dustin Johnson, are 3 off the lead at 3 under. Former Buckeye Neil Shipley's 3 over, plus 2's the projected cut line. In baseball Thursday, Guardians beat the Brewers 7-4. Parker Messick struck out 9 in 6. Cleveland's in Houston for a weekend series tonight with the Astros. Guardians currently tied with the White Sox in the AL Central. As for the Reds, Cincinnati had yesterday off. They'll battle the Yankees tonight in the Bronx. First pitch there, 7:05. Hear it on the Fan following the Buckeyes show. The U.S. men's national team takes on Australia today at 3. Second World Cup match for both squads. Midfielder Christian Pulisic is a game-time decision. He left last week's win over Paraguay with a calf injury. USA and Australia share the lead in Group D with 3 points. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Take a vacation from high interest rates with special rates on balance transfers at BMI Federal Credit Union. BMIFCU.org/consolidate.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Happy Friday. Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker with you until noon on this Juneteenth. Austin, feels like a win today for either the Americans or the Americans. It gets them past the group stage.
They'll be into the group stage. Really, a point today might be enough for the U.S. We want more. We want to win the group. It sets up a really enticing potential path. If they finish on top, it gets a little bit more dicey. If you finish second, you definitely don't want to drop into the wild card realm, which we've had to all get used to with the expansion of the World Cup playoff, which, you know, has watered down some of the interest in every single game. Doesn't seem like the stakes are quite as high at this point. But I'm not trying to rain on that parade. It's going to be an awesome day, but getting 3 points today would be critical, especially given the fact that Turkey was supposed to be the top threat to the U.S. in this group. Australia already upset them. You go into next week, and if you're sitting on 6 points, you're operating with house money at that point. So big day, critical turning point in this tournament, considering what it might mean for the U.S. beyond that, especially, you know, as you mentioned in the break there, Reeser, with Christian Pulisic and the calf, that he is the most important player, bar none, for United States soccer. I mean, could they still make noise today without him? Could they advance a round or two without Christian Pulisic if it happened to linger? Yes, they could, but what we're talking about here is the Jeremiah Smith of U.S. soccer. So big. The same would be true for the Buckeyes. Could they survive without Jeremiah for a little bit? Yes, but their highest possible ceiling is lower without Christian
This
Pulisic.
could be fun. So if Pulisic's Jeremiah Smith, does Team USA have a Carnell Tate?
Well, it looks like Flo Balogun, I was about to say, could be making a strong case to do that. And I think, you know, on the way up 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, you know, that was the conversation, was that Giovanni Reyna was going to be that it was going to be a 1-2 punch if Pulisic was JJ.
How many times did USA Soccer do that, where he's the next guy?
But we do that
it's just
constantly.
It hasn't panned out.
It's never stopped. I mean,
yeah.
Freddie Adu was he was not Jeremiah Smith, but when he was 14 years old, we sure thought he was going to be. So that didn't quite work out. We're always looking for that next big thing. The way that Folarin Balogun exploded on the scene in that performance last Friday night, it felt like one of those first times. It's like, we were right about this guy. He is going to be that good on the world stage. Hopefully he can follow that up with an encore this afternoon. But, you know, now you're sort of, you know, if Giovanni Reyna has to go in there and play, I don't know if that will be the case. Sebastian Berhalter, Tim Weah could be in the mix if you need, in place of Christian Pulisic. But now you're talking about,
so we've got more Berhalter Reyna drama?
It seems like the hatchet has been buried somewhere.
Okay, good.
And they didn't keep a map to where they put it. So that's helpful. We'll see how that all transpires. a fantastic goal by Reyna to cap it off last Friday night, a little outside of the boot action. But it's sort of like we have all of these fantastic athletes, and they don't make the jump the way that Ohio State's wide receivers actually do. Like when we talk about Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jeremiah Smith and Jackson Smith and Jigba, like Ohio State's not wrong about that.
Developed here is not just a cute slogan.
What we need is for Mickey Marotti and Mark Pantoni to go help finish off the development of these
to Seattle.
United States wingers and forwards. And, I think it's on the right direction, going the right direction right now. But, we could be looking at a Chris Henry Jr. or Brock Boyd or Jaquaden Guilford situation where we might have to put somebody out there who isn't quite as proven at the international level today. I hope that's not the case, but I'd also rather see Pulisic, because you have that first win in the book, that if you need to rest him a little bit to make sure he's ready for the knockout game or for Turkey next week, do that. Australia wasn't a team that you looked at in this group and you thought could actually be a real contender, but they did send a message last Friday night. So that's going to be the real fascinating dynamic, I think, for the next 5 hours.
And Team Australia, fun chance.
Hey, their fan base. I remember when, was that the 13 President's Cup that was out at Muirfield? You had a ton of Australians showing up for that, and head to toe outfits and chants, and they've been known to have a pint or two out there. So that's a good mix of fan bases.
So when you talk about the next Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State, is Jet Harrison entering that sort of orbit at all? Because I know you had eyes on him this week.
Yeah, he's different. He's different than Marv, and he's different than Jeremiah. That was the first workout opportunity that I had seen. So Jet Harrison, he is the number one recruit in the country for next year. He is from that family tree. We know his brother very well in Columbus, and Marv Sr. is still a fixture around Ohio State. They were in kind of unannounced a couple weeks ago as well, and then there wasn't a ton of advance notice that Jet Harrison was going to work out with Cortez Hankton, with Devin Jordan, and also, by the way, Paris Campbell, who has spent the last 3 or 4 days sort of shadowing around it. He's retired from the NFL. Possibility that he could get into coaching at Ohio State down the road as well. But all these guys, watching and evaluating Jet, everyone knows he's good. Everyone knows he's got the work ethic. And it's not a question that Ohio State is going to be probably the top contender to land him. But I thought it was interesting to watch him, compete, take the coaching. Jet Harrison has obviously known Brian Hartline for a long time. In this next era with Cortez Hankton leading the way, I think there's a getting to know process. Will the development be the same? Are the drills going to be different? The communication, what is that like compared to what, Marv Jr. knew? And I thought I talked to Cortez Hankton about it briefly. There's not a lot they can say about recruitable athletes, of course. There were people around there that are obviously, they know what he could become, but it's a different dynamic. You look at Jeremiah at 6'4", you think about Marv with the length that he had. Jet is a little bit more like senior's body type, but still with the movement and ball skills of Marv Jr. It's a pretty good combination. We're talking about a Hall of Famer and a Biletnikoff winner.
Seems good company to keep.
Seems pretty good. So we'll see if Jet wants to wrap up that recruitment process early. It was kind of cool to see it out there because, those similarities were undeniable. But I think the physical traits are different. And what he would do, he's around 6'1"-ish, 6'2" maybe at the most. So it's a different body frame, but the catch skills, the routes, what he's going to do in the weight room. I don't know if they're going to have to bring in a Monarch machine. Marv kind of wore the last one out. Yeah. If Jet wants to jump on that, I don't know. But I think that Ohio State's where he probably wants to be. You never know what's going to happen with an Oregon or a Texas getting involved. But if I can learn anything from the previous regime, when Marv Jr. was here, it was not, I must chase down every single NIL dollar. Even when it came to the decision to go to the NFL, it was like, well, you have to. It's $25 million guaranteed. They can't give you that next year. Go take it. But he still wanted to be around Columbus and around the team. I think Marv regretted the fact that he wasn't able to play on that 24 roster with the rest of his team. So all of that, I think, is passed down to Jet here.
And I wonder,
Sorry, Reese. Did we just get breaking news from Austin, by the way? that Paris Campbell will be the next wide receiver coach at Ohio State?
Don't clip that.
I mean,
I didn't say wide
We
receiver.
played the music, so
Just saying, I think maybe.
I think there is a not to be straight to a full-time coach. Like let's be clear about that. I think that as Ohio State has expanded the army that is in the Woody, one thing that they have wanted, and it is, you look at Brian Hartline, you look at James Laurinaitis, you think about Tim Walton. You look around, it's like these guys who understand Ohio State, understand the Woody, can then go out and sell that and the theory and testimony of it all. That's sort of what they're looking for. And Ryan Day knows Paris Campbell. He knows what he's about. I think Paris is not going to just jump in blindly. He's only been retired for, a few months. I think probably he will, if I had to guess, and maybe there's a Paris Campbell interview that is going to be on the beat on the Austin and Berm show in the next couple weeks. I can't say for sure. Actually, I can say for sure there will be. You can look for that coming soon. And he talks about what the next step in his journey is going to be. His former teammate KJ Hill has taken a similar route. Brian Hartline was looking for some of these guys to bring back in. Did that with KJ at South Florida. And I think that whether that's in addition to, like, Brian Hartline became sort of a third guy in the room when he in 2016. Paris Campbell could potentially do that. Whether that's imminent or whether that's December or January or beyond, we'll revisit that conversation. But I think what Paris did the last 3 days was like act like a coach. He got in there. He told me at 5 a.m. to go through, they had the OTAs, they had the workouts, they had film sessions. He was jumping out there to help with, the camp drills with the high school kids. I think he wants to be a coach. And I also think strongly that Ohio State would give him an opportunity to begin that journey.
Is Ohio State's quarterback future in a little bit of jeopardy? That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Experience the adrenaline of Barrett Jackson in Columbus, June 25th to 27th at the Ohio Expo Center and State Fairgrounds. See hundreds of no-reserve collector cars cross the auction block and sell to the highest bidder. Take in the lively exhibitor marketplace. Engage with interactive sponsor displays and enjoy a wide selection of food and drink options. It's an exciting, high-octane event for fans of all ages. Advance tickets on sale now for the world's greatest collector car auctions at barrett-jackson.com.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Our experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. Ohio State Urgent Care. This is world-class care.
Grilling season starts now at Billiards Plus. Shop top-of-the-line grills and turn every cookout into a win. Then bring the fun inside with pool tables, shuffleboard, and more. Everything for the ultimate game room. Billiards Plus. Grills, games, and good times. Online or on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
T-Bone and Tyvis wake you up every weekday morning from 6 to 9, and I think I can sum up the show in 3 words. Football, food, and fun. Ain't that right, T-Bone?
And I get more volume per suck.
And there's only one thing that makes Tyvis happier than a free hair transplant.
All it took was legalizing the money you had to give to the players. And we are watching the demise of the SEC.
T-Bone and Tyvis, weekday morning starting at 6. And tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan.
Dip it, dunk it, smother it. It's queso gone wild at Hothead Burritos. Try our new loaded potatoes covered in queso and topped off with hardwood smoked bacon, burritos, bowls, nachos, and more. Hothead Burritos. Get up and get you some queso.
The lot is full and the deals are on.
Let's get it started. At Lindsay Honda, we're kicking off the summer by giving you cash for your clunker. $3,500 minimum guaranteed for qualifying trade. Trade up to a new 2026 CR-V LX all-wheel drive CVT. Now just $339 a month. Or just $259 for a new 2026 Civic LX CVT.
Let's get it started.
Cash for clunkers is back at Lindsay Honda. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to find a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Call today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you want and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, foreclosures, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Call today and speak with me, John Kozik, for an all-cash offer and the help you need. At 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000, TurboTrackRealty.com.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, ooh, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of sunshine in our forecast today as temperatures soar into the mid to upper 70s this afternoon with breezy winds. And then for tonight, mostly clear overnight with our lows in the 50s. For Saturday, we will see mostly sunny skies with some spotty showers and storms. We'll have a little bit of a breeze with highs right around 80 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I'll say this, when you talk about numbers, there aren't too many men that have better than Austin Ward, who's in with us. So, in fact, Big Voice Guy, one of our top men, is in here working on this show. You also got Reeser and Baker rolling along with you until noon. Mike Petraglia will join us in about 12 minutes. I think he's on a plane going to New York to cover the Reds and the Yankees, but we'll get his thoughts on the Cincinnati Bengals and a kind of an audacious press conference that Joe Burrow had earlier this week where he said, you know, this Cincinnati Bengals team is much like that 2019 LSU squad that a lot of people think is the best college football team of the last 50 years, won a national championship.
Wouldn't have beat Ohio State in the national championship, though. No,
Well,
don't get me started on that on this Friday.
You're not playing that game.
Don't make me play it again.
Lost to Clemson, so we won't have
asterisk.
We won't have you do that hypothetical.
They didn't lose. They had it stripped away from them by the officials.
Unintentionally, I got you riled up about Lane Kiffin in the last hour because I knew that there was you had covered Lane Kiffin in a previous life, but I didn't know the vitriol you had for it. And so I thought the Kiffin comments were kind of funny, and I married it perfectly.
You did. Because
you just can't stand the guy, and it's understandable. He's a villain. I think he's a great villain. You just think he's a great piece of crap.
Well, most supervillains are.
Yeah, but they're great for the story.
He can supply endless stories. I mean, we're talking about him this summer being featured in Vanity Fair. Like,
yeah, he does hot yoga now.
Deep down, I understand that having heroes and villains. I mean, I like professional wrestling. You have to have heels.
You sure do.
I'm not saying that, like, Lane Kiffin's heeldom is bad for football. It's good for football. It's putting a lot of eyeballs on the entire sport and LSU. I don't have to like that he's part of it.
Well, then when
I like to go boo the heels
spectacularly at LSU, which a lot of people think, including yours truly, is going to happen with Lane at LSU. We're all going to have a good chuckle.
Here's the problem with Lane as a villain, though. Like, you got to win something. You got to be relevant. And he's relevant right now because he, got Ole Miss to the precipice, and now he turned that into LSU and the way that all happened. But eventually you got to win. Like, Kim Mulkey works as a villain because she's won and she's a threat to win. Will Wade, it's been a small sample size. He did what he did and got a team to the Final Four, or had the run with McNeese State and moved on to LSU. It ended badly there. He went to NC State, got them back. Now he's back at LSU. Will Wade is a villain if it works and LSU wins. Like, if Kiffin flames out at LSU, I think we're done talking about him for a long, long time.
Oh, that sounds,
when he flames
sounds
out,
like a dream come true.
It's all going to be entertaining. And so for LSU, I think 3 of the last 4 coaches won a national championship. So it's not completely outside the realm of possibility, especially with the money that he's given and how receptive they've been to just bringing in mercenaries, one-year guys. Still wild that Ed Orgeron won a national championship with them, but you had the quarterback in Joe Burrow. And we obviously know the story of Joe Burrow, and I wonder how much different it would have been, if NIL had been a thing, or if the transfer portal had been you don't have to sit, because when Burrow transferred, did he have to sit?
No,
a year?
So I think that's part of the.
He was a graduate.
He got the graduate transfer.
That's right.
So he left after spring ball, and the options at that time were really Cincinnati. It's where we all thought that he would go.
Yeah.
Or LSU, and you looked at that roster then in 2018, and the way Joe had to go learn an offense and a playbook overnight. It didn't really work. There's always this, revisionist history that Ohio State let a Heisman Trophy winner leave and dominate immediately at LSU.
They had Dwayne Haskins.
I know. They got Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields out of it. That was the way that worked. I don't think anyone would change the way it worked.
No.
Dwayne threw for 5 billion yards and was a Heisman Trophy finalist himself. He was amazing. God rest his soul. And then the way they were surprised because they also thought that they would have 2 years of Dwayne Haskins, which was part of the complication of that decision. Joe Burrow was going to have 2 years. He was eligible to be a grad transfer. They had to make sure they got that absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I don't think they look at it and feel like they got it wrong. They did think that Dwayne would have benefited from another year at Ohio State. I don't even know what that would have looked like. But the fact that they didn't use the word in the first hour, pivot. All right, well, this is Ohio State. This is Ryan Day. This is an opening at quarterback. Well, suddenly Justin Fields is available. And this is a different era. They still had to go through a waiver process to get that done. They did. And then you had another Heisman Trophy finalist. And were it not for a corrupt officiating crew from the SEC in Birmingham overturning a touchdown.
You're like Bret Hart when it comes to anybody in the wrestling business.
I think it just was the most shocking.
It was bad. It was bad. It was really bad.
The Glendale screw job was unlike anything I've ever seen. I still
a good way to phrase it.
I still can't believe it was real because, and why Baker's giving me a hard time about this. I say it all the time. Like that team was built to beat the brakes off of LSU. Everyone, and when people say that this is the best college football team of all time and unstoppable, they're forgetting about how pathetic LSU's defense was. In that part of the reason Joe Burrow won the Heisman in that year, yes, he was great. His stats were inflated to the moon.
They had to put up a ton of points.
Because they were winning games like 70-50, and he had to stay into the fourth quarter and keep throwing to Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and, this had Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the back. Like they had great skill players. I'm not saying they didn't, but they also, Joe was under a lot of pressure against better opponents. This team for Ohio State had Chase Young going after the quarterback, and they had 3 first-round picks at cornerback, and they had Jordan Fuller in the safety. They were designed to beat LSU, and you just can't tell me that defense would have had any answer for J.K. Dobbins, Justin Fields, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I'll never be convinced otherwise.
And the thing with Burrow's story is it doesn't, for every 10 quarterbacks that transfer, you get maybe one of those. Maybe. And so that's where I look for Ohio State. And the quarterback succession plan in Columbus is 1 more year Julian Saint and then Tavian St. Clair. The Buckeyes do have a quarterback in the class of 2027, Brady Edmonds. Yeah. And he is widely considered the best recruit in that class.
He looked good yesterday.
He's taken an official visit this weekend.
So he got in on Wednesday. He participated in the 7-on-7. He looks, the guy can throw the football. There's no question about it. I think
That's a prerequisite to get onto the field,
yeah.
Right?
I'm stating the obvious, right? Someone who's the number 1 ranked, has been the number 1 ranked quarterback in his class. Clearly he can spin the football. He can do all those things, when the pads aren't on. I think the uncertainty is what's the movement like. It's become, more critical for Ryan Day quarterbacks to have that. I think the juxtaposition there from a Kyle McCord season to a Will Howard year. We all know what Julian Saint is working at, as Ryan Day's called it, the X factor, being able to extend some of those plays. Julian can do that. He's not a dual threat quarterback, but he can use his legs. Can Brady Edmonds do that? I think that's the last piece where they're trying to figure out, is that something that will be part of his game? Because everything else, he's 6'4", 6'5". I think he's 220 pounds or so. Can throw a football through a wall. He's got good accuracy. He's got all those tools. It's, can he move? Does he have the mobility? And you're trying to figure that out, because when you're looking at that plan moving forward, Reeser, at the top, that's still where your money and your investment is going to go.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to get involved in with a true freshman quarterback and you're thinking about bringing them in, that's not going to be a spot where on the salary cap allocation, Ohio State is going to go above and beyond. They might not go, anywhere with it. Say, if you want to be here, that you're coming on a undrafted free agent deal, which is, to these quarterbacks and at that level, they can find other options. Mm-hmm. But that's the choice that they have to make, because Ohio State will have other people that are willing to take that spot. Brady Edmonds, I don't blame him for this in any way, shape, or form. This is what he should be doing. Well, what if UCLA offers him $1 million for year one? I don't know if they will or won't. I'm picking that number out of the sky. It could be more. It could be less.
Sure.
I have no idea. But Ohio State will not be in a bidding war for someone who would be ostensibly the third string guy. They still have Luke Fahey in this current class. And also there's a possibility that Julian Sayin could come back next year. That's not out of the realm of possibility, in which case that would be expensive as well. So that investment has become the new piece of trying to figure out what makes sense for Ohio State and what makes sense for Brady Edmonds. And both of them, at the end of the day, want to work together. They want to play together. That
Sure.
One wants to coach him. Brady wants to be coached by Billy Fessler and Ryan Day. But, what would he have to sacrifice to do that? And is he willing to do so? Whatever choice he makes, I think Ohio State will be fully comfortable with that. Because if they need to revisit it down the road, they will. They have a great relationship with him. Is he going to go succeed at UCLA? I would be skeptical of that. But
he would start right away.
He would get some experience. And if they need to revisit that later on, depending on the situation, they will.
Is Madden E.A. Malieva still there? Because this is the last year for Nico. I think he's finally exhausted his collegiate eligibility.
I don't know
after
what
this
happened
season,
to him.
whatever that's worth. But it does feel to me, for what Ohio State's done so well, and that's what we talked in the last hour about the ability to quick pivot, is you're not getting interested in having bidding wars with really anybody but the Jeremiah Smiths of the world.
They have to, when you're talking about recruiting classes and signing classes, if you cannot contribute in a meaningful way in year one, Ohio State cannot pay you. And people say, why not? They're running up an arms race. They can pay whatever they want. They are Ohio State. Okay, think about what that does to the pay scale if you're suddenly paying a freshman.
Austin, it's a pie.
It has to be allocated correctly. And I know that you guys talk about this all the time on Bishop and Friends, and Bo breaks down the salary cap, quote-unquote salary cap, as well as anybody. But, you give it to the starters, you give it to the guys who've earned that money. Retention is still the key piece for Ohio State. How they acquire the talent elsewhere becomes a moving target in some respects every single year. But when you look at that quarterback position, Ohio State is never, ever going to invest up front in those true freshmen compared to retaining Julian Sayin or retaining Tavian St. Clair, then at that point, if they have to go to plan C, the transfer portal for a veteran experienced quarterback. Like those are the three options for where that money's going to go.
Speaking of pie, they're eating down in Cincinnati. How far will this spending spree take the Cincinnati Bengals? We'll have Mike Petraglia on in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. If your air conditioner never seems to turn off, worn-out windows could be the culprit. Broken seals and old frames let your cool air escape, and with summer just getting started, it's only going to get hotter. Upgrade your house's windows now during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows and getting half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down and no monthly payment or interest for 2 years. Built with top-quality materials, insulated glass, and precision seals, Window Nation's windows fit perfectly and lock in the air. Upgrade today, and your home will stay cooler this summer and warmer in the winter. Plus, your home stays comfortable year-round, and you could even see lower energy bills the first month. They're so good, Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty, and they're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. Sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com to book a consultation. That's windownation.com. Window Nation, a proud partner of Wounded Warrior Project.
There's only one Ozempic Hello, I'm Ozempic. And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle?
Ah, thanks for noticing. Catchy, right?
No.
Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic.
There's only one Ozempic.
I told you it was catchy.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker rolling along on this Friday. Congratulations if you've set off on your 3-day weekend. Gorgeous weekend to do so. There's a lot going on in the sports world. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Bring on wonderful friend of the program, Mike Petraglia. Bengals at clnscincy.com. He's the host of the Jungle Roar and the Code Reds podcasts. Mike, thanks so much for giving us the time this morning. Joe Burrow earlier in the week said this is the best Bengals roster he's been a part of. In your time, whether it's being a fan or covering the Cincinnati Bengals, where does this roster stack up with the best in the Queen City?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that this is the best roster that they have had, certainly since the Andy Dalton run in 2015 when the team started off 8-0. But I would make the argument you could probably go back. This is the best roster that the Bengals have had collectively since probably the Carson Palmer years, the 05 team, which was 11-3 and I think on their way to Super Bowl 40 before, obviously the knee injury happened in the playoff game. That team was loaded. This team is loaded. Certainly the 81 and 88 teams, the 88 team especially, you make the argument that's the most talented team the Bengals have ever had. And they almost beat a dynasty team in the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So, but all of this is great for talk, for what we're doing right now.
We love it.
The Bengals, yeah, but the Bengals have to go out now and prove it. There's no question, like Joe Burrow said this week, guys, the front office has given us all we need. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That cannot be questioned at this point. We have what we need. Can we put it together? Can we respond to the pressure, which was one of the two words I want to talk about, pressure and urgency. And Burrow was like, oh, bring it on. We need to know who's going to answer the call to pressure and who's going to shy away from it. And they're going to find out soon enough, obviously when the season starts.
Yeah, Mike, I was curious about, your take about Joe Burrow's comments and press conference because, we've known him around here in Central Ohio for a very long time, following his career dating back to Ohio State and elsewhere. And he's never been shy about speaking his mind, but it almost felt like you mentioned pressure and urgency, a more intense version of Joe Burrow than we would maybe expect in June.
Yeah, I'd say yes and no to that. At that press conference, it was almost like a weight was lifted off his shoulder, and he was very honest, forthright. He smiled quite a bit, but he looked very comfortable talking to us in the media. And that struck me more than anything is how comfortable and relaxed he was for the point of the offseason we're at right now. And I think he feels like, okay, I do feel the way about this team that I did about the 2019 LSU Tigers that went on to win an undefeated national championship. And I think he believes that all the pieces are in place. I think he also thinks the leadership is in place, and there aren't as many distractions as there were last year. Certainly the top distraction was Trey Hendrickson. There was also Shamar Stewart there was a lot of uncertainty around the locker room about who's going to step in and lead. This defense is relying on so many young players. You don't have that coming into this year. We know that they have a core of veterans built around some first and second year players, sure. But I think there's a core of veteran leaders who have been brought in here to win a Super Bowl. What was also interesting is Burrow said that we have some veterans in here who have never won, who are hungry to win. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence and Jonathan Allen lead that parade of players that he's mentioning. Kyle Duggar is another. But Brian Cook's already won a Super Bowl. He's won 2 of them. And Boye Mafe is coming off a Super Bowl win. So, I think he thinks the mix is there on defense. The offense should be no ifs, ands, or buts about how well that offense can perform. Burrow's got all his weapons. He's got an offensive line that, for the first time in his tenure, defined at all 5 positions. He hasn't had that luxury before. So that's why I think he's in a good place. I also think that he believes that the team had a good offseason. So did Zach Taylor.
With the front office stepping up and doing what they did this year, you talked about the offensive line. They've obviously improved the defense with Allen and Cook and Dexter Lawrence. Is there, you mentioned the word pressure, is there more pressure on Joe Burrow this year, or is there more pressure on Zach Taylor?
That's a great question. I would say there's probably more pressure on Joe Burrow. Though if things were to go sideways, I'd say the fall guy would be Zach Taylor. I don't think there's any question about that because Joe Burrow's not going anywhere. But I think Joe Burrow knows that it's up to him to put the points on the board that he's always been able to in the past. And now he's got a defense that if they can play with the lead, and they didn't do that much last year, if they can play with the lead, they are ideally suited to protect the lead late in games. They should have fresh legs on the defensive line. That's one of the reasons they built the defensive line this offseason the way they did. They have guys in the back end of the defense who should be able to cover and press coverage. They should be able to cover in zone coverage as well. It's a very versatile defense. But the whole thing here is, guys, they have got to do a better job of playing with the lead. Joe Burrow mentioned it this week. Zach Taylor mentioned it again. In order for us to get to our 4-minute offense late in games and run out the clock, we've got to be able to play with the lead.
Mike Petraglia is our guest. He covers the Bengals at clnscincy.com and the host of the Jungle Roar as well as the Code Reds podcast. He joins us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Mike, I know that Katie Blackburn had kind of a pop-up media availability where she backed Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin, the director of player personnel. How safe is Duke's job if this thing doesn't end in a Super Bowl?
His job is safe. The only way it's not safe is if everything were to fall apart and they won 5 to 6, maybe 7 games. I think then you would look at a restructuring of the front office. I don't think Duke Tobin's going anywhere, though. I think he is a very close family friend of the Blackburn and Brown family, and I just think they trust him unquestionably and undeniably with decision-making, with the way he handles himself. And with the Brown and Blackburns, like any family-run organization, there's a familiarity there that comes with that. And I think they are so comfortable with Duke Tobin and his knowledge of football that they'll live with a mistake here or there. And I don't think, even if the team were to struggle this year, I think, again, you'd look at reassigning him in the organization. His job is not, per se, in jeopardy.
Mike, you rattled off a bunch of, new names, new faces that are down there in Cincinnati right now. When you think about the offseason, which move do you think was the best and potentially most impactful for the Bengals?
I'm going to say the obvious, Dexter Lawrence, because he has the chance to disrupt things along the defensive line that they haven't had before. And one of the reasons the Bengals were exposed both at the safety position last year, and the tackling was horrible, and the linebacker play was not good, and tackling again was horrible. All of that was because of time and space. The Bengals did a horrible job of getting guys in space to where they could bring down the ball carrier and get them to the ground. Well, the reason for that is when you have nobody to disrupt the line of scrimmage, offenses can develop their plays a lot more thoroughly. And when offenses can get down the field and make moves, double moves, triple moves, guys get open all over the field. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, and I think one of the big reasons for that is Dexter Lawrence. I also think the domino effect that Dexter Lawrence is going to have on another new guy like Jonathan Allen is going to be massive. I think B.J. Hill is going to be able to be a pass rusher again as a free technique guy. And I just think they're going to be able to do so many things along the defensive line that they haven't been able to in years past.
Mike, do I have this correctly? You're on your way to New York for Reds-Yankees?
No, I'm actually in New York on my way for some R&R on Nantucket.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I'll run into Bill Belichick on Nantucket. Who knows? But no, I'm on my way to Nantucket. And, my last reporting adventure was Wednesday's wrap-up with Joe Burrow. Okay. And my story is up on clnscincy.com. Usually I like to give you guys a link to that story before I come on the air. Sorry I didn't tell your producer. I'm sorry I didn't do that. But that's where I'm headed right now. I'm in a Delta Sky Lounge enjoying a lake breakfast.
All right. Well, enjoy the trip. Safe travels along to your destination. We'll talk with you before the beginning of the season, Mike.
Guys, have a great summer. Take care.
Joins us again, courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, Mike Petraglia. We'll post his article about Joe Burrow at 971BFS, but he's Cincinnati Bengals at CLNS Cincy. I just saw this about a bold new plan for Michigan football. We'll see if it pays off. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
I can't raise my arms. I can't climb stairs. I can't kneel down, which means I can't play with the kids, golf with the guys, or get through a workday without an exhausting pain. Hey, it's Tyvus, and I'm here to celebrate what you can do. And that's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. Not bracing for the next jolt of pain. It's gone. They've moved on back to living their lives. You heard me talk about Dr. Tesner and the team at QC Kinetics and how they helped me get my knee pain to go away. No missing work, no surgery, no long recovery. And I love hearing from you. How we here at The Fan helped you dig out from under that long list of can'ts and get back to living your best life. So go find out what you can do. It's a good life out there, folks. Go live it to the fullest. Let's get rid of that pain. Starting now, the consultation is totally free to see if you're a good candidate. Offices in Dublin and Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
It's time for sun and savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, get a new 2060 Elantra SE for $59 per month for a 2-year lease. Just $59 a month for the drive into summer sale. This month only. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit $39.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year and 7.6.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Furnace, call 1-800-FURNACE.
Common Man here. Join me June 20th for the Common Man Mile at this year's Fan 5K in Westerville. Get signed up at 971therace.com.
The 97.1 The Fan 5K is presented by Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, and the Common Man Mile is sponsored by Rose Pest Solutions. Rose Pest Solutions has been protecting Columbus homes and businesses for over 165 years. Got a pest problem? Rose is the solution. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
Hey, it's Anthony here for the Good Feet store, and my journey continues. No more agony of defeat. Already this season, I've walked 18 holes twice and lived to tell the story. My personally fit arch supports go where I go, and in this case, right into my shoes, all of them. I just pop them in any pair and off I go. Just having that support and the stability has made a world of difference for me. A while back, I walked into the Good Feet store and walked out with an entirely new outlook. And I knew it right away. After taking the test walk around the store, I felt the difference. And not just that cushy feeling. I'm talking about real support, the kind that makes you feel aligned. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I experience it daily. I really feel my personally fit arch supports guide my feet into their ideal position. You can make an appointment online or just stop into the Good Feet store in Grove City or on Polaris Parkway in Westerville. Get started at goodfeet.com.
Think you know Buckeye football? These two say, hold my beer. The Beat with Austin and Berm.
Sponsored by the Waterworks.
Daily on the Fan's YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. This fine program is proudly sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler, for almost 80 years. A bold new strategy for Michigan.
What could it be?
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Spoiler alert, it's stadium advertisement.
Oh.
This from the Ward Manual yesterday. To support our student athletes in this new era without compromising their competitive edge, we must carefully expand our corporate sponsorships into venues where we have previously held back. To that end, our partners at Michigan Sports Properties in Learfield are currently in discussions with potential sponsors about the new Leaders in Best Champion Partner Program, which includes jersey patches, on-field and on-court logos, in-game sponsorships, and digital scoreboard advertising, which today I learned that they had never had, that they do not have ads up at the Big House. I've only been there once, admittedly, but bold new strategy for NIL at Michigan. Thing or not a thing?
Seems like not a thing in this day and age. It's rather remarkable that they haven't taken those steps previously, although there is already a Jordan logo on those jerseys. So,
the patch has been there.
It's already there. But they'll be adding another one, and Ohio State will be as well. I know that they've sort of, we got all worked up and excited about, unveiling the Color Rush scheme, the Scarlet Rush, the tunnel vision, bringing the heritage stripes back, and then they're going to throw another patch on there and probably get Bo worked back up in a couple weeks when that announcement happens. But this is just the day and age of college football. I don't really understand what the holdup would have been from Michigan's perspective. I don't also care, frankly, that much, but it is the benefit that they have of a billionaire who married someone who went to Michigan and deciding to just throw around money, is that their version of the Excellence Fund didn't require additional marketing dollars. They would just go ask Uncle Larry Ellison for it, and they would give it to him, and Bryce Underwood would magically appear on their roster. But they must know that is not a sustainable model forever.
So I think this is a thing because I think they all should be doing it, and I think that the fans are going to hate it, and they're going to push back at first. But I've said this before. Ohio State has this new turf that they can customize the end zones. I think that's as much for having a black end zone during a blackout night, as much as it is for maybe a Safe Light logo in there, which we've seen on the field before, or a Nationwide logo or something else. And I think they should. You guys know how much I hate the roundup and the ask of fans. We just talked about ticket prices, and they're through the roof. And then you have parking and concessions and everything else. Quit asking the fans to pay for these 18-year-old kids. So whatever they can do, I don't care if it's even a sticker on the back of the helmet, which people are, oh my, you can't do that to the Buckeye leaves. I don't care about a patch on the jersey. You sell whatever. I don't care if you sell the naming rights to the shoe. And people are going to throw a fit, but do it and quit asking me for more money.
I said this in Just to Bo yesterday because you're talking about the PGA or the U.S. Open at Shinnecock and how some tour stops or how some golf courses can't be played later in the summer because it gets too hot. Yeah. Or you have some AI or virtual reality freak try to pitch, let's just play the golf course in a virtual reality thing.
Oh.
Do we get to the point with advertisements in the end zones? They're kind of like billboards that they just every quarter just like flip over and they just change color. Like, could the technology ever be there?
Yes,
yeah, we've seen that with hockey, right?
You're never going to notice it.
Yeah, we were watching a Jackets game late regular season back when it mattered and back when it was fun, Baker, and there were the local advertisements for the Blue Jackets, on the whiteboards around the arena. And she's like, "Is this game at Nationwide?" I was like, "No, wherever it was." Tampa's like, so they're just putting up on the broadcast local ads. I mean, yeah, they can do that now. And you can. So you can do whatever you want.
Which is pretty amazing that they can keep those somehow on the boards as the camera moves and pans.
The technology is there.
The technology's nuts.
Where I think you're going to be able to switch out the end zones in the future.
Yeah.
Paramount says 8.2 million people watched UFC Freedom 250 on Paramount Plus this past Sunday at the White House. ESPN says the event peaked at 17 million. For reference, UFC 324 was back in January. Also exclusive to Peacock, it averaged 4.96 million viewers for the main card. It peaked at 6. Thing or not a thing?
I think it's a thing, not so much for popularity of the UFC or prevalence of sporting events on the lawn of the White House. We probably won't see the latter all that much, and the former might not be sustainable just based on that one event. In terms of live sporting events and streaming services continuing to see a return on their investment and wanting to get further into competition with the traditional broadcast outfits, CBS, the Foxes, everything else that we've seen, NBC. This is a real push. If you get even this amount of people involved with a UFC fight when interest has been waning in that product for a number of years, I'm not saying that they will change it, but it just gives them a reminder that live sports are king. Like, there's no close second. For as many people as might love Love Island and want to watch it and tune into that every week, the thing that people cannot miss and don't rewatch later are live sporting events and the communal experience of that. So this, I think, is significant because they say, we can do this with UFC. WWE is doing this with Netflix. They were on Peacock for a while. Getting people captured into the live stuff we're only going to see more of it. This is a thing from that perspective.
You're right, Austin, and I think this had more to do with the card itself, on the fighters on that card and the matchups they had than the White House. There probably were some people that tuned in to see the pomp and circumstance, or there's probably some people that tuned in because they wanted to see it fail, right? They wanted to pick it apart because they didn't like it from the beginning. It's interesting, UFC 324 is referenced here. A lot of these same fighters were on that 324 card. Justin Gaethje headlined it. Sean O'Malley was on it. Hokett and Lewis were on it. Those two weren't fighting each other. But I think a lot of people turned in for the matchups in this to see Alex Pereira move up to heavyweight. Could he be the first ever to get a belt at 3 different weight levels in the UFC? Gaethje and Topuria, everybody thought that would be a banger, and it lived up to it. But you're right. We talk about it every day. It seems like we come in here and a new sport has broken a record. Live sports are winning entertainment.
I did want to ask this question, so I'll make this the final thing real quick.
Okay.
Do you think for like Bud Light, for Monster, for those advertisers, would it be more worth it to do an event like UFC Freedom 250 at the White House more than a Super Bowl ad? Like, what's the better return? What puts your brand out there better? Because it feels like everybody's got a Super Bowl ad, but only a handful of people were on the White House lawn.
No, I think it's a great point, Reeser. That probably is a thing for them. And if you're trying to reach a targeted, specific audience, that's the best way to do that. The Super Bowl, everybody watches it, and you got 150 million people or more, but they're not all going to be consumers of your product. That's, I think that is the shift. You have to go where your audience actually is.
An anniversary we must never forget. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Common Man here for my friends at Care Heating and Cooling. Summertime napping season is upon us. What's that mean? Well, that means for me, a little nap on the leather couch. I got the ceiling fan on, but if that AC's not working properly, that nap turns into crap. Am I right? You got to make sure that AC's in tip-top shape, and the only people to call are my friends at Care Heating and Cooling. The message on their homepage says, we care about your comfort, because they do. If you're not comfortable in your own home, they start to get itchy and scratchy. Here's what you need to know about my friends at Care. They've won the Lennox Centurion Award for 17 years in a row. Now, if you're not in the biz, you don't know what that is, but I'm going to tell you, it's given to the top 5% of Lennox dealers in the country each year. Their service techs are the best in the business, and there's not a problem they can't solve, except maybe the meaning of life. They had no answer when I asked them. But think about living without central AC. Mess you up. My friends at Care also have easy online scheduling. CareHeatingandCooling.com. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Dip it, dunk it, smother it. It's queso gone wild at Hothead Burritos. Try our new loaded potatoes covered in queso and topped off with hardwood smoked bacon, burritos, bowls, nachos, and more. Hothead Burritos. Get up and get you some queso.
Need a new ride before summer hits full speed? Head to Germain Honda of Dublin, where the Honda SUV lineup is ready for your next adventure. Choose from the versatile Honda HR-V or the always popular Honda CR-V, with a great selection of gas-powered models available right now. Plus, well-qualified buyers can take advantage of some of Honda's best lease offers of the year. Whether you're commuting across Columbus or planning a weekend road trip, there's a Honda SUV built for the journey. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road or shop online at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
How many of you have had your garage floor done? I'll wait for the answer. Yeah, that's enough. How many of you think it looks like crap? That's because it is crap. One quick call to Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they can install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in one day. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard. It's like pulling into a new car showroom every night. And here's the best part. It is guaranteed your garage floor will never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. And listen, you lazy bum, they'll even take the stuff out of the garage for you. They're all certified uniform pros. No subcontractors at Comer & Cross. This is a premier product with premier results, and they hired a premier endorser to tell you about it. For your quick and easy Comer & Cross garage floor quote, call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR now. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or go to ComerCross.com, COMER cross.com.
Spring cleanings when homes get a new twinkle in their eye.
A new
new spring in their step.
A new color in their cheeks.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
When that shiny truck from 1-800-GOT-JUNK arrives at your house,
It's a sign of a new beginning,
a clean start.
a breath of fresh air.
When your home feels clean and happy,
The people inside feel clean and happy too.
we make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit us at 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
3 decades, one family, and a simple promise to deliver a white glove customer experience every single time. Newman Roofing, locally owned, family operated, and proud to have earned 1,200 5-star reviews from families just like you. Call Newman Roofing today, 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit newmanroofing.com.
Enough already.
We can do more.
Enough already. We can find a cure.
Enough already.
We can do better for our kids.
Enough already. We are relying on you.
We can come together to support Children's Cancer Research Fund, a national nonprofit dedicated to ending childhood cancer that is on the front line of breakthroughs. Because
it's enough already.
Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. You couldn't have asked for a better start in the World Cup for Team USA after their 4-1 win over Paraguay. The U.S. men's national team battles Australia today. Kickoff from Lumen Stadium in Seattle is 3 o'clock. Midfielder Christian Pulisic is a game-time decision. He left last week's win over Paraguay with a calf injury. USA and Australia share the lead in Group D with 3 points. The U.S. men's team battles Turkey next Thursday night in Los Angeles. In golf, the second round of the U.S. Open rolls along on Long Island. Wyndham Clark leads at 5 under. He's 1 over through 10 on the day. Dustin Johnson's 1 back at 4 over. In baseball Friday, the Columbus Clippers host Scranton for a doubleheader starting at 5:30. The Reds are in New York versus the Yankees at 7:05. Hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeyes show. And the Guardians are in Houston taking on the Astros at 8:10. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Take a vacation from high interest rates with special rates on balance transfers at BMI Federal Credit Union. BMIFCU.org/consolidate.
The best facial hair on the air. This is Bishop and Friends.
Not to correct that update, Anchor, but I guess you could have written a better
I didn't want to have to say
because
it,
Christian Pulisic left at halftime.
But if you were asking me for the best possible outcome last week, I would have said, well, I'd love to see a healthy Christian Pulisic.
Yeah. No tweaking of the calf.
I could tell that you realized that in real time.
Yeah.
Because you followed it up immediately with, the best player on the team did leave at halftime with a kick to the calf.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're writing these things mid-show, you forget what you've written. And then when you're going at it, you're like, well, it's already on paper. I can't go away from it now.
What's interesting about it, though, I mean, you're right. Opening the
4-1.
Opening the World Cup with a 4-1 win on home soil, and really one of the most energetic, athletic, clinical finishing on offense performances that the U.S. has ever had in any game of major significance. That was arguably the greatest performance in the history of U.S. soccer, at least in terms of aesthetics and beauty and dominance. But it did come with that one big caveat that we're going to need Christian Pulisic healthy and involved moving forward.
So Mauricio Pochettino
there you go.
Is the boss of Team USA, and he had this as an update on Pulisic. I think this was from yesterday.
We'll see. I think at the moment we see he's not available for tomorrow, will be available for the next game. But I think he's doing a massive effort, trying to be ready. When this type of thing happen, always is painful. But I think Christian is strong and with great mentality, and is doing a fantastic effort to try to be ready as soon as possible.
It's the as soon as possible part that has me a little bit worried.
Yeah.
3 p.m. today, as soon as possible?
Does it reek of confidence?
The tenor of the conversation has shifted from last Friday, where you had Jenny Taft, the all-American girl, saying,
too early for that, man.
Said, thumbs up. He's good to go. Just a minor precautionary measure. And then after the game, it's like, we got kicked in the calf. He's going to be okay. And then the rest of the teammates, you had Tyler Adams earlier in the week. He's like, it's Christian Pulisic, man. He's going to be ready. And then you get to Thursday, and it's like, well, he's still been training on the side. He's got a big sleeve on his left leg. Not sure that that's the greatest sign in the world. You know, the U.S. can win this game without Christian Pulisic, but it can't win a quarterfinal game.
Yeah.
Beyond whatever, if you're going to make the deepest run in the World Cup that the Americans have ever had, CP10 is going to have to be part of that.
So I know that maybe both of these events aren't for everyone, but what an awesome weekend in sports with the World Cup going on and the U.S. Open. Reese, while you were doing your update, they were showing highlights in here of the U.S. Open yesterday. Bryson DeChambeau hit a 427-yard drive on one hole. Now, I know it hit a downslope, and he got a huge kick, and then this didn't even look like a cart path. It looked like a road that went straight through this hole. It hit that and bounced again, and then it caught a hill and rolled, but 427 yards.
Seems pretty good. That's what you drive it, don't you, Bake?
Not anymore.
Oh.
Not ever.
DeChambeau's teetering, so he's +3 through 11 on the day. Projected cut line is that, +3. Scotty Scheffler, the world number 1, is 2 over. He'll go at 224 today. Right now, Wyndham Clark leads 5 under for the tournament, but he's +1 through 10 on the day.
The winds are picking up out there.
Dustin Johnson.
4 under, even on the day
years.
through 10. It's interesting to see some of those guys that you just haven't thought of in a while.
I feel like
even John Rahm, watching him out there this morning, he's 2 over through 8. It's like, oh, yeah.
I think DJ must have got it in his mind in the last couple of months. Like, the live money's drying up. I might have to start trying again. Might be time to practice.
The live money's drying up. What is he, Floyd Mayweather, writing bad checks?
He won, where was that, in Washington at Olympia or something, and I think that course is kind of pretty similar to Shinnecock here, so maybe this sets up well.
That's a
road.
this
That's
road
not even
do?
a cart path. That's a road, that goes right through the course.
What is happening here?
I don't know, but it's just having these huge major events pretty cool. And we talked about this off air. Tim May is living his best life right now. He found a spot where he perched up and he could see 4 different holes.
Is he volunteering again?
He volunteers every year for the
Yeah.
U.S. Open, and so we try to find him, and we have this pictured in our minds, and I try to put this out for the audience that he has to climb a tree to get cell phone reception, especially out there on the longest part of Long Island. The Tim May U.S. Open dispatch is always a fun thing we do, and it's a yearly tradition, and it's one of the things that we learned this week.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Make a reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
So I teased it, so like a good radio honk, I've got to pay it off. On this day, June 19th, 2016, the Golden State Warriors blew a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers with the most improbable comeback of all time. The block, the shot, infamy. Cavs win their first NBA championship, and then Eric got to go to a parade.
Where was your vantage point?
Of the game, I was watching it on TV.
No, the parade. Were you hanging off that parking garage?
I was trying to climb the light post with Machine Gun Kelly.
Eric loves a good parade.
They're the best. I was reminded it yesterday how much fun can be had with those. The New York Knicks took over New York City. And, we've said this, Austin, for a while, where everyone in New York is a Knicks fan. There's divided fan bases in the NFL. There's divided fan bases in the NHL. There's divided fan bases in Major League Baseball and the Big Apple, but everyone loves the New York Knicks. And I'm going to keep trying to speak this into existence because a Big Four championship parade in Columbus would be just as great as the one in New York City. You say that Columbus is the San Diego of the Midwest.
100%.
Would also be awesome.
Be incredible. Where would you start it?
I was thinking about this the other day because would you want to end it at Front and Nationwide?
You have to. There's no question.
You couldn't start it really. You couldn't start it on High Street.
You're going to shut down Nationwide.
I'm not going through campus.
Well, hold on. It depends on what parade we're doing. And I know we've
Columbus
seen this
Blue
before,
Jackets championship parade.
But a Columbus Crew parade can't end at Front and Nationwide. It could end close to there, but
that one wasn't quite as populated on the parade
it's
route.
Not one of the Big Four. And so I didn't want to bring in the Cruise Championship parade because it's not comparable.
Yeah.
MLS isn't comparable because it's not the best in the world at what they do.
This city would go crazy for a CBJ parade. There's no doubt. It would be electric. I think
All right, you start at
I think
started
you
in the Short North?
Started at the Kroger on High Street.
I think you started at the R Bar, which is close, and then you go towards the Short North and around, and you end up back at...
Are we just doing all foot parade?
Let's just store it right there in front. Have it open.
Baker's only thinking about, can you walk with a beverage the whole time?
Thinking about what I want to do here.
You're going to put them on golf carts if you're starting at the R Bar?
We're doing the show from a float, obviously. We're getting Bo's Kenworth here, and we're taking the whole team, and we're doing the show with
We're going to
them
provide
as
the
they go
truck
around.
that pulls the parade float with the players and us on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're probably... You want to kick that off in the Short North and then make your way slowly down there. We don't have a billion streets like New York City.
It's true.
So we have a limited parade route option.
Well, for the Blue Jackets, next up's the NHL draft. I think it's next Friday in Buffalo. Jackets have the 14th overall pick. Do you think Dylan Larkin's going to get moved by the Red Wings before then?
I would think they would have to move him by then.
Because they don't have a first-round pick.
If they're trying to get any kind of return that allows them to invest in the future, you've got to, if you're Detroit, and maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're going to call the bluff here and try and keep Dylan Larkin. I don't know how that's going to end.
That'd be bold.
I understand 100%, but, I don't know why they would feel compelled to do it with the deal that he's under.
Yeah.
But also you don't want a disgruntled key, centerpiece of your lineup who... We saw what happened when the Blue Jackets tried to do that with Pierre-Luc Dubois, and the effort that we saw on the ice didn't match up with the potential. So, you don't want to run in that risk of happening a month or two into the season. But I guess if you don't move him by the draft, I don't know when a good time would be.
So it's interesting, and I think they're going to try to move him by the draft, but I don't think they necessarily have to move him by the draft because this is a year with all the teams that have salary cap with it going up, that they expect a lot of hockey trades this summer anyway. So you can still let people see what they get in free agency, where it breaks down, and then pull off a hockey trade. Also, I don't think in this move for Detroit, it's necessarily all about the future. I think they still think they have a roster that can compete, and I think they want to get a piece or pieces back that can help them stay relevant if that's something they haven't made the playoffs in 10 years, longer than the Blue Jackets.
I was going to say, what part of them is convinced that they are a competitive league?
But if you remember last year in January, they were one of the best teams in the East, and they had a collapse that was worse than the Blue Jackets. So they feel like the pieces are there. I think they want to add to that. I don't think they necessarily need draft picks in this deal.
We also learned that the decision makers in college athletics can agree on some things. We saw with Brendan Sorsby and LJ Smith. What might he bring to the basketball Buckeyes this fall? We'll do all of that next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Well, Lorenzo, the pitch looked good.
Yeah, so green.
USA keeper was decent enough.
Didn't have much to do.
99 minutes.
Not a single goal. Well, Bet365 sure came through, though. I bet $10 and get $365 in bonus bets just for signing up.
At least someone scored.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Guess which store is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and you'll get up to $180 off sets of Goodyear tires.
Oh man, what's their name?
This 4th of July week,
Championship Golf takes center stage in Columbus. From July 2nd through 5th, the 46th U.S. Senior Open Championship comes to Scioto Country Club, where legends of the game meet hallowed grounds that don't play favorites. Feel the energy, the tradition, and the pressure of championship golf at its finest. Be there for every moment. Tickets are available now on SeatGeek.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Hey, it's Common Man. Everybody's talking about affordability these days, but the good news is you'll find hundreds of vehicles that fit your budget at GoGermain.com. Drive home in a new sedan starting at just $139 a month. New SUVs from only $189 a month, or a truck for as low as $329. Plus, choose from over 1,700 new and pre-owned vehicles, all priced under $30K, and it's only at GoGermain.com. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Go see my friends today. GoGermain.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Proper tree care is an investment that can lead to substantial returns and increased personal enjoyment. Hiring a certified arborist can help care for your trees and prevent storm damage. Inspections by Ohio ISA certified arborists can often find and mitigate tree defects before they fail. Only professionals with specialized knowledge and training are properly equipped to provide appropriate care. To find an arborist, visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Join the fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes, it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of sunshine in our forecast today as temperatures soar into the mid to upper 70s this afternoon with breezy winds. And then for tonight, mostly clear overnight with our lows in the 50s. For Saturday, we will see mostly sunny skies with some spotty showers and storms. We'll have a little bit of a breeze with highs right around 80 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. The Friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Working on a holiday. Happy Juneteenth. We're not really working. I mean, Bo's doing more work than I'd say the three of us combined because he's got to take the family to Indianapolis to do youth sports. And that in
You're on the
itself.
clock 24 hours for that one. 48 maybe. See how successful they are.
Well, he was asking us yesterday because and I don't know how, Baker, he narrowed it to these two options. Either take the kids to Buc-ee's on the way or take them to St. Elmo's.
That's Buc-ee's every time.
I think it's St. Elmo's because as a father of 3, are you going to what are you going to enjoy more? You got to be selfish in this.
Well, Bo is definitely going to enjoy St. Elmo's, but it may be NBC, but I think the other two are going to enjoy Buc-ee's. So, I mean, Bootsy especially. He's having the time of his life.
I don't know why those were the two options.
That's not exactly a coin flip that I've ever heard before, but maybe this makes me, I'll be, I guess, an outcast from sports media. Maybe this will solidify my move away from Press Box Snob. I don't like St. Elmo's.
Full on turn.
I find it to be wildly overrated. I don't understand why anytime there's an event in Indianapolis that everyone is going crazy and posting a million pictures. I like the shrimp cocktail. It's good. I'll get it next door if I want it from Harry and Izzy's and not have to deal with an average steak that's marked up to $90. Like, just miss me with that. I'm not going to St. Elmo.
I might join you in that, Montgomery Inn. I think just became a bottling facility. Like St. Elmo is just a bottling facility.
I feel like
and we can buy the cocktail sauce at the grocery store.
I feel like that about a couple high-end, not all high-end steakhouses, but there's a couple out there that I feel like, yeah, this really isn't worth it. I could do better at home.
Yeah, when the Buckeyes are in Indy for the Big Ten championship, or Big Ten Media Days are actually there like they should be, and not being floated around from Vegas and then to Chicago during the middle of Lollapalooza. Press box snobs coming out on that one. Let's get together. Let's have the beat go out to St. Elmo. No, I'm not doing it. And I'm not going to give in to the peer pressure. I'm not going back. It's never going to happen, Reeser.
That's how I feel about 3 p.m. today. I am not giving in to the peer pressure.
So, come on.
I think you're missing out on what could be a great scene and a great spectacle in sport. Because what you have with the World Cup is the best in the world to play a game that, even if you're a casual fan of, there's appreciation for. But what I think Fox has done a pretty good job with is showing how the spectacle affects people all over the planet.
Baker, I'm going to peer pressure the
USA,
absolute
Australia,
heck out of you here. Go to the Commons and celebrate a goal. Have a frosty beverage in the sunshine with your fellow Americans. When a goal is scored and there are thousands of people, whether they're soccer fans or not, we all know what the reaction is when the ball goes in the net. That's how I got my mom into soccer. It's like, here's the commitment. It's 2 hours, and you don't need to know anything except that when they score a goal, we're all going crazy. And then she loved it. It's like, because you know what? It's impossible to not have a good time when people are throwing drinks in the air and being outside and celebrating our country.
So I respect it. I've been around it a lot. I was at every Crew game for 3 years. It's just not for me. I don't enjoy the sport. I don't enjoy the fans, quite frankly.
Oh no.
And
wow.
It's just not not my thing. And listen, I have plenty of things that I can do to be outside drinking, throwing drinks in the air. So
you gonna do that for the US Open?
No.
Oh, Scotty made a birdie. Woo!
What we do have in front of us this weekend is great passive sports watching. So you have the World Cup, you have the U.S. Open, and baseball at this time of the year is a lot of fun because for the Guardians and the worst division in the sport, all you have to do is just trot along at 500 and make it through August. Be alive in August.
Have one good week in August.
Yeah, and you're fine. Similar, I mean, the Reds are 3 out of a wild card spot. They're not dead yet for a postseason berth, so you can just have it on and then do whatever the hell it is you'd like to do. And there's sport for you. You talk about how simple soccer is. I've had it on Peacock to watch the Telemundo broadcast, or is it Telemundo or Univision? Because one, they don't do the hydration breaks, and two, I understand goal.
That's good.
I'm good.
Translates pretty easily.
Like yesterday late last night, Mexico, South Korea, or the Republic of Korea. I forget what they were calling it on the broadcast. That also because I didn't understand it because it's Spanish. You just had a spectacle in front of you that was fun.
I think this is the only event too where you don't need the broadcasters.
Sure don't.
I think that if something were to happen in capturing the atmosphere and the sound, it's pretty self-explanatory. You don't need a ton of that insight for soccer to be explained. And I think that's not the same. I've said that maybe hockey's close to that in the past, but there's so much going on and line changes and personnel and all that. People want to be able to keep up with that. Like for soccer, there's only going to be those 5 subs. Mm-hmm. So you're not having constantly in and out of the lineup that you can't keep track of who's on the field. And then the singing and chanting and everything that goes into a World Cup and international atmosphere. I would prefer to hear that personally than anybody else on the microphone. But, I know that Baker's got his take on that. I'm not going to change his mind, and that's fine too. But I bet maybe by the round of 32, he's going to be like, you know what? I don't want to be left out in the cold. I got to be part of this.
Oh, that's cute.
The 4th of July weekend when Team USA is in the quarterfinals? What that would be?
So what we're looking at, if we win the group, we will play on July 1st, and we'll have a fantastic path through. Gets a little dicier if we drop to second in the group. That game, I believe, is July 3rd at 3 o'clock. If something goes very wrong today and next week, and they have to fight for that 3rd spot in a wild card, then I believe that game would be on the 4th, but we don't want any part of that.
So you were talking about the announcers not necessarily being needed to watch and enjoy soccer. You were at the Schottenstein Center yesterday.
Yeah.
Does Ohio State basketball need L.J. Smith this season? It's a moot point.
Yeah, they have him.
Because they have him.
And that gives you more depth, and you have him in the program that allows you to get a jump start on the development. I would say all those things are significant.
Mm-hmm.
Does he change in the short term the ceiling for this team? I don't know that it's going to be that different, and especially because of what Jake Diebler did in the transfer portal to fortify that backcourt. I know that
They did all of that not knowing. This would be the case.
Sort of came together, late in the process, and those guys, were shooting the lights out, all of them. I think there's a lot to really get into with, Justin Pippen and Jimmy Buckets out there, Curtis Givens the third. Like those guys, I know that nothing in the transfer portal in any sport is ever going to be guaranteed.
No,
and you're losing Bruce Thornton. Yeah, so I can understand that, like, spreading your chips around is like, well, if you can bring in someone else who has really high upside, high level ability, can shoot the basketball, there's no harm in that. It does get complicated financially.
Sure.
It does get complicated in playing time. Like, does LJ expect to play right away as a true freshman? Will he be disappointed if he doesn't? Is that going to force a renegotiation? I don't know. None of this stuff is guaranteed anymore, so I can't make promises about that. But generally, when you get these guys in and they get a taste of what it's like, and they love being in the shot, or they love living in Columbus, or whatever the factor is, they get a good relationship with their coaching staff. That gives you an advantage come next March and next April, whatever the scenario is going to be. So I think that is significant for the future. Does it change the present rotation? Maybe not. And Jake Diebler did allude to that a little bit on Thursday after practice. Because, it's a reminder he's still young. He was saying that 3 weeks ago about Anthony Thompson,
right.
But this goes double for someone who should be a high school senior.
Reese, it's an interesting question, because what does Ohio State need? Like, if you think Ohio State just needs to get into the tournament again, then no, they probably don't need L.J. Smith. But if you want to make a run into a second weekend, and maybe this doesn't translate to him playing a lot early on, but I think you do need him then, because I think for Ohio State to take another step and make a run, they need Anthony Thompson to be the leader on this team. They need him to be the go-to guy, to be the alpha, because he's just that uber talented. And L.J. Smith is a guy who's talented too. And maybe he won't be ready by the time the season starts physically, but I would have to think with Ohio State and their nutrition program and weight program, they're going to get him by the end of the season ready for something like the tournament, and he won't be waiting in anymore. So I do think, if just making the tournament's okay, no, you probably don't. But if you want to do something in the tournament, you do.
And I think it's the best case scenario. The ideal outcome for Jake Diebler is that this becomes a 2-year plan. And I know that that's hard to execute, because if Anthony Thompson does the things that we expect he could, it's very much in play for that to be a one-and-done scenario. But what you're hoping happens is that you can get the NIL piece, you can get the roster retention, and that you get 2 years together for Anthony Thompson and L.J. Smith, and what that could look like. Because have they dramatically elevated the ceiling into Final Four type team roster right now? Probably not. Did they look like a team that could go further than, at least during an open gym on a Thursday in June? Was it impressive to watch what they're doing? Yes. Can they take one more step than they did a year ago? I think that they can. But to get to a point where it's Final Four type conversation, what has to happen is that you keep both of those two players into the end of a second season in Ohio State. That's way down the road, but I think that's where the best benefit would be.
And for right now, all you can do is just that, right?
Yeah.
You can have, and I thought it was a really good job out of Jake Diebler over the past couple of weeks to just kind of pop in, right? He was on with Man and Timmy. He had the open practice yesterday, invited everybody to come out, and just to remind everybody, we're building something here. You got 8 new faces. It'll be really exciting. The aggressive scheduling they've done in the non-conference, and then, of course, everything with the Big Ten that they'll have this upcoming season. In 2 minutes, Doug Lesmerises, he'll join the program. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Hey, it's Bo Bishop here. If you've been thinking about an RV, now is the time at RCD RV. They've got over 850 RVs in stock. Motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers from trusted brands like Cougar, Georgetown, Springdale, Forest River, and Salem. Trade values are sky high right now, and every RV purchase from RCD RV comes with a $500 ODNR gift card for your next Ohio State Park getaway. This limited time event ends June 27th, so don't wait. Visit RCD RV or shop now at rcdrv.com.
Dip it, dunk it, smother it. It's queso gone wild at Hothead Burritos. Try our new loaded potatoes covered in queso and topped off with hardwood smoked bacon, burritos, bowls, nachos, and more. Hothead Burritos. Get up and get you some queso.
Common Man here. Join me June 20th for the Common Man Mile at this year's Fan 5K in Westerville. Get signed up at 971therace.com.
The 97.1 The Fan 5K is presented by Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, and the Common Man Mile is sponsored by Rose Pest Solutions. Rose Pest Solutions has been protecting Columbus homes and businesses for over 165 years. Got a pest problem? Rose is the solution. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
I want to say that the past month has been the most amount, at least for me, Eric Reeser, Austin Ward, Ryan Baker, of long-ass statements from people in the know in college sports that, like, I'm not reading all that. And I saw one from Cody Campbell earlier this week where he's trying to do the best job he can for not only Texas Tech, not only for himself, but for Brendan Sorsby.
Sure he is.
And then I saw this response from our next guest, Doug Lesmerises, Bill and Doug on YouTube. TLDR, you're a tool. And Doug Lesmerises joins us now, courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Doug, how do we get Cody Campbell out of college athletics?
I don't know. Shut down his oil wells? I don't know, man. It's hard because, this doesn't have to be a sport only for the blue bloods, right? Only for the schools that were good 50 and 80 years ago. So the idea that a school like Texas Tech can come on the scene and in the new world, spend some money and get some players and get those fans excited, I like that. I don't like that the guy who's funding that is somehow now the mouthpiece for the sport, right? And so, we can't only listen to the Ohio States and the Alabamas, but I also don't think Texas Tech needs to be driving the bus, and sometimes it feels like that's what's happening.
Doug, it just seems like such a ridiculous situation because I've compared it to, Ross Bjork being involved with the College Sports Commission and Ohio State trying its best to follow the rules that it has suggested everyone else follow. And sometimes that becomes a point of frustration for the fan base, sometimes not. But Cody Campbell is also as active as a participant, but he's like, well, if these are still the current rules, then I'm going to do whatever I want. And it's turned him into such a comical heel for me.
Yeah, I mean, you understand looking out for number one, right? But then don't play like both sides of the fence, right? Like just be like, we're going to burn it down. All I care about Texas Tech. Like the idea that he's trying to balance acting like he cares about what's best for the sport as a whole while also being like, well, what am I supposed to do? Go Red Raiders. That's the part that drives people crazy. Like, I think there's some part of, like, just be honest about it, right? Like there's enough people in college football who are like, the heck with it. All I care about is my team winning. People are used to that. But don't talk about out of both sides of your mouth.
With all of that, though, Doug, it seems like the universities, whether that be the Big 12 or the NCAA as a whole, said, we're not going to stand for this. We don't care what the courts ruled. This is not happening on our watch. Should this give us some hope that maybe, possibly, these school administrators can figure this out?
I've been thinking about that this week. Like, is it possible that the Sorsby ruling making him eligible, one judge saying that, was the bottom? And we're at the beginning of the bounce back toward common sense and the new reality, and finances matter, but we also have some rules to try to create a structure. There's enough of this stuff with the bill in Congress and people fighting against it that I'm not like definitively there. But I think it's possible, like in this whole massive chaos, right? It's sort of like there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 5 years? When do we get this figured out? And I wonder if like this is the beginning of the final solution of figuring it out. Fingers crossed. But it's like, how much worse can it get than like, yeah, gambling, cool, keep playing. Like that does feel like the bottom. And so now if that's not going to happen, maybe this is the road back.
Yeah, I guess in that instance, only really one way to go, and that's up.
Yeah.
I say that with zero confidence. Bill and Doug show on YouTube. I saw you talking with Adam Rittenberg. He had that future rankings, and he had Notre Dame #1. And I just wonder, is a lot of that off of because Marcus Freeman's the hottest coach in the sport, less the rosters over the next 2 years?
Yeah, so when we talked about it, I told Adam when we debated it on the show that I would have Ohio State #1. He had Ohio State #2. He said the only two teams in consideration, and his is 2 years from now, who will be the best program. He said it was between Notre Dame and Ohio State and nobody else. I think the idea that like Marcus Freeman remains this hot name in NFL circles, and what is Notre Dame without Marcus Freeman? If he leaves after this season, like would you bet on 2027 Notre Dame? That would be part of why I would have Ohio State ahead of Notre Dame. But one of the things that he takes into consideration is offensive and defensive lines, and just he said looking ahead, what the future of the Ohio State offensive line is compared to what you think the future of the Notre Dame offensive line is. And Joe Rudolph at Notre Dame, I think, is as good as it gets in college offensive line coaches. I have questions about Tyler Bowen. I think that's an understandable, I don't know if doubt's the right word, but curiosity of, when Carson Hinsman's gone and Luke Montgomery and Austin Cerebell, like what's this next crop of Ohio State linemen? Like that I thought was an interesting point. So I do think it's probably a coin flip. I'd lean Ohio State, but it's one of those things like, if the Buckeyes are only the second best team, for the future, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we're splitting hairs up there. Also, Notre Dame's schedule, if we're just going to project those out, seems a lot more manageable than what the Buckeyes have. Yep. But there's nothing wrong with being right up there because, especially in this era, being #2 is going to put you in contention to play for a lot of championships. But you were out there again at the Woody yesterday, I think Tuesday as well, Doug. What have been the summertime vibes that you've picked up with the Buckeyes?
Yeah, I was really, it's just like, we all talk about football, but like the feelings part of it, we joke about on the show. Landis talks about football, and I talk about feelings. I thought Wednesday for the 7-on-7 camp that the final of the 7-on-7 camp was the team for Christopher Vargas, who's a 5-star quarterback in the class of 2028, who's interested in Ohio State, and Ohio State's interested in him. And it was his team against R.J. Day's team. And it was like Ryan Day watching this game. Every Ohio State staffer was watching this little 20-minute game of the guy who might be Ohio State's future starting quarterback. I don't know. It seems possible. Mm-hmm. And the coach's kid. And I was like, man, ball, Like, there's all this other stuff going on, but, like, I really – because I saw Ryan, we saw Ryan on Wednesday. He's watching Christopher Vargas. He's watching Brady Edmonds. He's watching RJ at times. RJ makes a throw. He's doing, like, the dad bend a little bit of, like, like when your kid makes a throw. And it's like there are moments where in the semifinals, RJ's team and Vargas's team were playing, like, on the same field but on opposite halves, and he could just turn like, 180 degrees and look at his kid or look at his future. And it was just like, for all the other stuff that matters, there's a lot of good-looking Ohio State players walking around. There's a million of the best recruits in the country. I was struck by a 20-minute moment of like Ryan Day being a coach and a dad at the same time.
You talk about a lot of these Ohio State recruits there, and Brady Edmonds was there, and Jet Harrison, and all of that. Yep. Are these 7-on-7 camps now, are these as important for future down the road transfer portal additions as they are as actually recruiting, getting kids to come here out of high school?
Yeah, I mean, I'm far from a recruiting expert, but I mean, like all this stuff, right? I mean, everyone talks about planting seeds. And so, there's a lot of, most of the kids there you're not going to get, are not going to be Buckeyes. But, all these camps, they play like this really cool video from Archie Griffin on the big video board at the end. You're just showing, what you're about. You see the current Ohio State players who are walking around, like what's Columbus really like. There's probably a couple kids out there who are not going to commit to Ohio State, but might wind up at Ohio State. And like the little tiny seeds of, does this place seem cool? What are these coaches like? Oh, these players. Like, I do think when everybody's a free agent after every year, the player pool is gigantic, and you just want to create a good impression. And it's like, I'm unbiased journalist. I'm not from Ohio. I didn't go to Ohio State. Let me watch a 7-minute Archie Griffin video, and I'm like, my God, where else would you want to go, man? This is, like they do a good job. Now, if I was watching a Penn State video or an Oregon video or a Georgia video, God forbid, like they'd probably make great videos too. But like I do think you're making impressions on all these kids, and anymore, just because you don't get them out of high school doesn't mean you won't eventually get them. So they are making those impressions every time those kids come through.
Doug Lesmerises is our guest. Get the Bill and Doug Show on YouTube and also Bill and Doug at Substack. Doug, thanks so much for the time, bud. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
And he joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. No ranch for you. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Hey, Weekend Warriors, Austin Ward here. You want to know when your body starts talking back on a golf course? Cart path only. Suddenly your ball is 80 yards across the fairway. You're hiking over there with 3 clubs, and by the time you get to it, you're not thinking birdie. You're wondering if the course has an urgent care. And that's the point. It's not just the scorecard. It's the whole day. Walking 18 without feeling like you're in a survival show. Bending down to read a putt without making that noise. Getting home and still having enough left in the tank for the kids, the yard, the cooler, all of it. That's why Awaken 180 makes sense. It's a medication-free solution with weekly weight loss, support, and yes, free support for life. You may not fix your slice overnight, but drop 30, 40, even 50 pounds, and the game, plus life after the game, feels better. Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame. Make the call, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Summertime's here, and that means it's the best time to upgrade. Why? Because you're running that AC in the house. If your windows are leaky and drafty, then all that good, expensive air that you're creating in there is cooling the outside. Right now, you buy 4 windows, you get 4 free. And the more windows you replace, the more you save. Plus, 48 months of 0% interest financing, same as cash. That's 4 full years to pay with no interest. 614-502-5220. UniversalWindowsDirect.com.
Imagine taking your family on that dream vacation with a brand new 26 Chevy Equinox from McDaniel GM Superstore. Matty Ice here for McDaniel this month. Save up to $3,190 off or get an incredible 3.9% APR for 60 months. Prefer to lease, drive away in a new Equinox for as low as $249 a month for 36 months with just $3,998 due at signing. They're just off Route 23 on 95 in Marion, or visit online at McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
There's only one Ozempic
Hello, I'm Ozempic. And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle?
Ah, thanks for noticing. Catchy, right?
No.
Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic.
There's only one Ozempic.
I told you it was catchy.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
This weekend, the Ultimate Music Fusion takes the stage. Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents Grammy Award-winning superstar Wyclef Jean performing live with the Columbus Symphony. From the Fugees to his massive solo career, experience unforgettable mix of hip-hop, reggae, and world music with hits like Gone to November. We're trying to stay alive and more. One night only. This Saturday, June 20th at the Columbus Commons. Get your tickets now at picnicwiththepops.com.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Rothman and Ice.
If you hit a fadeaway on Tree Rollins, you'd remember his name.
But I think in time, Tree Hollins, that name would fade a little bit.
Tree Rollins? Faded in 2 seconds.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Reese's mustache is so nice, it has its own area code. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, it wouldn't be the 614 area code because I don't have a mustache right now. The Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, what are you most likely to watch this weekend? The U.S. Open, the World Cup, both or neither?
Both. I know Baker is too.
27% agree with you. 30% say the World Cup, 22% the U.S. Open, and just shy of 19% say they will not watch either.
No. U.S. Open.
Neither?
Well,
come on.
That's what I'll be taking naps to this weekend.
You know, if neither is the option, like what?
What are you doing?
What are you going to be? I mean, baseball is available.
Maybe you're just enjoying the summer.
You could
You're
be.
hitting the pool or the lake or I don't know.
Tell you what, having the ability to watch like Peacock on your phone, because you can just plop on, or ESPN, whatever's on ESPN, or the Guardians. I gave them $100 of my money, and I can stream on my phone or my computer or my television.
Take that to the pool.
So I throw it into the pool if I'm watching too much Cleveland Guardians baseball. We'll do 3 things right now.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Bo usually tells me to hit it, and I didn't really want to tell myself to hit it.
Oh.
So I just hit it.
Did you hit it?
I already did.
Oh.
I already hit it.
Thanks for hitting it.
Yeah. Next time we'll coordinate that a little bit better.
This is why you guys don't invite me to do this show. I don't know the routines.
We don't know the routines.
We are inviting you back Monday at 10:30.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Are you able to come on?
I am.
All right. Cool.
Then the following week I'm going to be on a boat, so keep that in mind.
What kind of boat?
A cruise boat.
Like a Disney cruise boat?
Disney cruise to Alaska.
You're doing the...
Man.
Okay.
We get Uncle Dom and the waters. Now Austin.
He won't go
This
in the
is
water.
Beautiful.
Heading up there for Liberty's birthday celebration.
awesome.
And I don't want to go south and get hotter in June. That's not, and with this complexion, if you're watching on YouTube, it's not really conducive to more sun, and I don't want more sunscreen. That's a thing that I hate. Thing number 1, I suppose. But
Yeah.
we're going to go, I'll have a chance to then put on a sweatshirt, get up there in Alaska, and everybody raves about how beautiful it is. Can't wait for that.
So for the World Cup, you've seen so many, at least by now, I would hope you have seen on social media, all of the reactions, all of the partying, the tourists, that the international soccer fans have come and taken every city over. They drank Boston dry, the Scottish fans did. This from TSA. If you're visiting for a very large sporting event and you happen to discover ranch while you're here, please pack it in your checked bag on the way home. Thank you.
Discovering ranch. My wife has been watching these videos. Like, they're going to Buc-ee's. They'd make it easier for Bo. You got to go to Buc-ee's over St. Elmo's because they're going crazy. Brisket sandwich at 9 a.m.? Let's go.
It's good. I'm just not going out of my way for Buc-ee's. But if you're doing a road trip for the World Cup, you will see a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, they're coming more and more, supposedly.
You're getting one in Mansfield despite the petition.
First thing for me, we didn't talk much about the parade yesterday in New York for the Knicks, but you saw everything. You saw a guy sucking a girl's toe. You saw girls fighting on a light post.
I didn't know how that was going to end.
I did not know where that was going, and I didn't see that.
Were you going to? Is he going to hit the dump button for himself?
Hit it.
I will if I have to.
No, you hit
it. Fighting, and then a girl punching a girl in the butt while she's twerking up on this light pole. And then good job out of the people that I don't know why this guy was up on top of like a subway platform hood or whatever, but he ended up like passing out and they had to Narcan him. And good job by all of the people there that went up and did this. And when he came to,
he said, "Go Knicks, go Knicks."
He shot his shot. He tried to kiss the girl that saved his life with the Narcan. So there was all kinds of walks of life.
Was it like a Sandlot situation?
It was crazy.
Is Jenny Peppercorn trying to save him?
I mean, that's a heck of a play if he did that.
Remember the Cavs parade. Machine Gun Kelly was on a float. He climbed off of his float. He caught one of the street signs and he climbed up on one of the lampposts. So, yeah, it's an NBA championship that they haven't had in 53 years. I get the excitement, but let's not be punching butts here. Come on.
Sucking toes.
Have some class. Yeah, you suck the toes inside.
That's behind closed doors activity.
In your bedroom. You keep it there.
Yeah. I think we would have a lot more decorum, Reeser, for our CBJ parade.
More like, ooh, York City. Yeah.
Oh, burn. Boom. Roasted.
Gross.
Got him.
Is it your second thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I took your turn. Listen, I know Baker won't give in to peer pressure, but
he's going to watch.
If you're listening right now, Columbus, America, planet Earth, but mainly Columbus, get down to Columbus Commons or Land Grant today. I promise you're going to have a wonderful Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. I don't know if it'll make you a lifetime soccer fan. In most cases, it won't. I'm not telling you that you should be one, but you should enjoy the atmosphere of something that comes around. And as much as FIFA is trying to ruin this World Cup, the chance to go out when everyone is pulling for the same team and everyone knows the rules when the ball goes in the net and everyone is having a beverage or two, that experience, it really can't be replicated in other sports. I'm telling you, it's special. It's fun. Give it a shot. Other than Baker.
He'll do it.
Second thing for me.
He'll get roped into one of these matches.
You guys are funny. This is the first weekend in a long time that I have nothing going on.
See?
And I know next weekend I have a lot of things scheduled. So chances are you're going to have a very lazy Ryan Baker this weekend, just lounging around the house, watching a lot of the U.S. Open, probably watching some Cincinnati Reds. Although I will be here Sunday morning for the fan call-in show. So give us a call from 8 to 9.
Pretty sure this is my final thing. We've gotten so far off the rails. I'm not sure where we are in this segment, but I am very excited. Tomorrow, the Fan 5K, 8 o'clock start at Otterbein. We're doing it a year earlier because it got really hot last year, June 9 o'clock. But looking forward to seeing everybody. Please come and say hi if you see me. I'm going to try to run 6 miles.
Are you trying to win it? Taking the whole thing down?
God, no. And that's the thing. Like, today is going to be a difficult one because I'm going to have to gauge my alcohol intake. But America's playing. So we'll see how that's
fuel.
I will let you all know on Monday how that balance worked out.
That's going to be awesome. Sunday is Father's Day. Looking forward to. Last year the girls surprised me. We did the Clue scavenger hunt in the Short North. I don't know if they have any plans for that this weekend because we are leaving for vacation on Wednesday. But I did feel like I was challenged to earn a Father's Day with Columbus Children's Theater's camp that Liberty's doing this week, scheduling her performance
Bad scheduling.
at 4:00. So Allie said, she's like, it's okay if you just want to stay and watch the game. Like, I'll go to the performance. And no, this is my daughter's performance, her camp. I'm not going to miss it. And especially that would really ring false for, like, you're a great dad on Father's Day weekend if I choose to just go watch the second group stage game of the World Cup instead of a performance she's been working on all week long. But shout out to Liberty and Allie for making me a dad. It's been one of the coolest things ever. So looking forward to celebrating with them all weekend.
Final thing for me, do not go anywhere leading up to the World Cup today. Rothman and Ice, they've got you covered. DeVere Posey is in for AR. Jeremy Birmingham will be live in studio with them at 12:30. They'll also talk to Brendan Deeg at 1:30 and a little chin music with Jensen Lewis
Your World
at 2:30.
Cup pregame begins now-ish.
I promise Byrne won't talk about the World Cup.
Buddy, it was so much fun. Hope you had a good time. It was good for me.
That was great for me.
Baker, hope it was great for you. Guys, enjoy the weekend. Everybody stay safe, hydrate, and we'll talk to you Monday. Bishop and Friends, 9 to noon, right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics.